Good evening and welcome to the 94th edition of the Alabama Crimson Tide Live College Show from yours truly, Jackson Johnson, and my partner, crowd Jeffrey at OnlyTalkSports, as we're going over what we learned a little bit about the media days from the Crimson Tide side of things. Let me tell you something, folks, it's going to be a wild ride, especially when you hear Stephen A. Smith, or some people call him Screaming A. Smith, running that mouth about Kalen DeBoer. And I'm going to tell you right now, I mean, our first caller having a discussion with Stephen A. Smith would be classic. And I'm going to tell you, it would be fun right there. But we just want to give a reminder that this episode is presented by FanDuel. And after we have a discussion with our first caller tonight, we'll be telling you a little more about the magic that FanDuel is going to provide for all of you all right there. How you doing tonight, good buddy?
I'm doing good, Jackson. Like you said, already got our first caller lined up for the night, so that should be very interesting to see what he's got on his mind tonight. Have a pretty good idea. Alabama, Ohio State will be mentioned, but just definitely have to prepare ourselves for that. But definitely can't wait to talk some Alabama football and stuff going on with SEC media days. College ball is getting closer, man. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. I mean, you even have the SEC potentially breaking away, from the NCAA. There's a lot of discussions going on right now, so definitely excited to get into it.
There we go. And we've got the first caller of the night, and I don't know what he's drinking, honestly. It's some kind of milk, but he calls him, he is known as the most hellraiser Buckeye there is on the land of Ohio. They call him Kalen the Diesel Freak. How you doing tonight, good buddy?
Good evening, gentlemen. How you doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing all right. How you doing tonight, good buddy?
Enjoying another drink courtesy of someone special. And yeah.
I mean, we have a pretty good idea of what you're referring to, but I doubt it.
Well, Jackson actually got the scoop last week while you were going on vacation. So, Jackson, if you want to tell Jeffrey from what last week, feel free.
Oh, about what you were drinking?
And what's included in this drink tonight?
Oh yeah. It's like I think the audience. We'll let the audience use their imagination with that.
You could tell Jeffrey later after the show, Jackson. I mean, don't be ashamed.
Well, there's no shame.
Hey, well, it makes a good, delicious drug mixer.
There you go, man. What you got on your mind tonight?
Well, obviously, SEC media days were today and this week. And to be quite honest, from what I've been hearing from SEC media days, it seems like a few things. Steven Sarkisian is going over beyond about Arch Manning and how his senior year is coming up. Excuse me. And how, he's proclaiming Arch Manning is going to do so and so. Not surprising from the Texas, folks. Texas A&M, so what? Ole Miss. Yeah. Lane Kiffin's just not Lane Kiffin. Pete Golding is just being Pete Golding. And Georgia, actually, I've been impressed with Kirby Smart since they've been during the off season. So I got a lot of positive things to say about Georgia and that they're trying to get their image rebuilt pretty significantly well, but it's just been taking time.
They'll three-peat. In my opinion, I believe Georgia will three-peat the SEC. We have a meeting. Well, a lot of our SEC hosts, including us, Jeffrey and I here at the Voice College Football Network, will be having our media days polls out on SEC Live Wednesday night. I'll give you a hint, though. I've got Georgia and Texas playing one another in the SEC title game, and I think Georgia wins the SEC title. But I will say I've got something always tells me that there is one game I've got Georgia losing, though.
Tell me what's that one game, Jackson?
Alabama. Alabama. Because, Alabama is always the kryptonite for Georgia in the regular season. Now, yes, when they have like a rematch, Georgia tends to win those. But when it's like the regular season, it could be in Athens, it could be in Tuscaloosa, it could be in Cancun. Alabama always seems to get it done against Georgia.
Well, my thing was, Jackson, Georgia found that one opening in the SEC title game against Alabama, which I mean, from what I saw, I think that gives them the regular season opening as well against Alabama because they found their one weakness, and that's the offensive line. Because once they took Caden Proctor out of the equation, it left Ty Simpson vulnerable to getting sacked. That's the one major key difference. That when Caden Proctor was down for the injury, missing the SEC title game, and only making it back to play in the Rose Bowl against Alabama in Indiana, that's when I was really like, yeah, now they've really exposed their weakness. So I feel like now that Caden Proctor's not with the Tide, I feel like Georgia's found their opening, but also a different quarterbacks in Keelon Russell. So Alabama could have a difficult path this season, but that's the one thing I'm always like about Alabama is that you never know what could happen in their season. They lost to Florida State. They lost the SEC title game to Georgia. They could lose a couple games. I'm not saying they're going to lose like 4 to 5 games. I'm just saying they're going to at least lose 2 to 3.
Yeah,
and I'm just being honest.
You've heard Jeffrey express his concern a lot here on this channel about he said, I'm not concerned about whether Bama can beat Georgia or LSU. I think I've got that correctly, right? It's
you do.
How Alabama will perform in a game like a Kentucky or Mississippi State or South Carolina. And that's a lot of our concerns, of course, because like the last 2 seasons, we win the really big games, but we're losing that one game we shouldn't lose. That makes everybody scratch their head, like the Vanderbilt and Oklahoma games 2024, the Florida State game of 2025.
The SEC title game. Let's not forget that one. A 28-7 whipping of the Alabama Crimson Tide, courtesy of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, the moment you're in the SEC title game, you're in the playoffs. But I also mentioned, don't push your luck. Do not do that.
No, because if you push your luck, you could lose a spot to the playoffs.
Let's hear what Jeffrey has to say.
I mean, Alabama pushed their luck big time, and they still made the college football playoff. I mean, I thought after that performance that they might get left out, and they didn't even drop a spot. So, I mean, like Jackson said, at the end of the day, I mean, if you have 2 losses or less and you're in the SEC title game, you're probably going to be okay. That's kind of what the committee showed there. I mean, again, it's been a pattern, for Alabama lately of losing to teams they shouldn't. And that's my biggest concern for this season is everybody's talking about that 4-game stretch of tough games, the Georgias, the LSUs, the A&Ms and all that. But I mean, I'm worried about the Kentuckys and Mississippi States and all that because we've been losing to the Vanderbilts and we lost to 6-6 Oklahoma in 2024 and 5-7 Florida State. We cannot lose to teams like that. If Alabama goes 10-2 and their 2 losses are to Georgia and LSU by 3 and 7 points respectively, I think most people would be okay with that. They would prefer better, obviously, but they would be okay with that. But if they go 10-2 with wins over Georgia and LSU, but they lost to Vanderbilt and Kentucky or Kentucky, Mississippi State or whatever, Florida State and Kentucky, then people are going to be mad. It's like, why? You shouldn't be losing to those teams if you're able to beat those better teams. I mean, because Alabama last year, they played Georgia. Played great in the regular season, but you lost Florida State. You played great against Missouri and Vanderbilt, Tennessee, and all those teams, but then you lost to Oklahoma at home. So,
and again, Steve on Twitter makes a good point. Trench play can dictate a season. I mean, that's another thing, I can agree. That's the other thing. Trench play, your offensive line and your defensive line, your 2 main key parts of your team. One on offense, one on defense. So. But my thing about is in the rest of SEC media days is either they're going to be pushing their luck, or they might get to the playoffs by a squeeze or some lucky miracle. But that's just my 2 cents.
I think we could see something like that. I mean, like I've got Alabama a 10-2 record, but I won't spoil it too much. But I think the offensive line play will get fixed.
It has to be better.
Yeah.
And Kalen DeBoer was bragging about Sedarian Morgan and EJ Correll at the media days. So that tells me that we could see a breakout season for both those guys. I mean, I was shouting Morgan's names from the rooftops. Now, we did hear Noah Rogers, the North Carolina State transfer, is coming back at some point in the season, which, I mean, it's going to be at the early part, but I think it's going to be like before the end of September. But, you know, Sedarian Morgan, I think, could be that wide receiver number 3 for 2026. I think
it gives Sedarian Morgan a chance to play early against teams that we should beat relatively easily. And if he's able to get out there on the field and he performs well, then that's going to increase the likelihood that he will have an impact in bigger games down the rest of the season. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if Noah Rogers was starting right at the beginning of the season and Morgan wasn't getting much run, then his chances wouldn't be as good. He's got a really good chance to play immediately with the injury. And if he does well, then it could be kind of like a Charlie Becker situation with Indiana, where Charlie Becker made some plays early in the year, but then he gained confidence. And by the end of the season for Indiana, he was a massive reason they ended up winning the Natty, even though he wasn't even a starting receiver. So that could be the case with Sedarian Morgan, where you think of him as, hey, he was going to be a bench guy, but he actually ends up having a big impact on this team this year. So only time will tell. But Rogers' injury, which hopefully he won't be out long, definitely opens the door for Morgan to get playing time.
No, and I completely agree with you, Jeffrey, to be quite honest. Alabama's receiver room is getting good, but the thing is they got to keep their wide receiver room healthy. Mm-hmm. Because if one goes down, then you're missing a key part, and then you're going to have to put in somebody that hasn't started a game for the Crimson Tide, even in the early part of the regular season. So this is most important. They've got to keep their offensive front healthy, and they've got to keep the wide receivers healthy, keep them fresh, because especially in those big critical moments, that could be a serious flaw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's easy turnovers. I mean, I've seen that go in and out every single game, and I think you both can agree with me. If you don't have a healthy wide receiver room, then you know you're screwed. Especially if your tight ends
are get up like a chicken nugget.
Mm-hmm. And your tight ends are going to be the only option you have, but you're going to need a tight end to block, say, you know, a pass rusher. Because there are defenses that have some guys that can bust through some offensive lines pretty easy. So that's my one thing, is that if you have to worry about a defense that can lock it down early, that's where you really need to consider trying to keep your wide receivers healthy.
All right, man. Anything else you got for us tonight before we get to our next caller?
Other than that, as far as Buckeye news, I mean, yeah, DGG's lost.
You excited about the media days next week?
I mean, media days for Ohio State, I feel like it's going to be a clear message from Ohio State, and I feel like from Coast Day. I think we're just going to let this team run with Chris Henry Jr. starting early, week 1, get him going, and obviously getting the wide receiver room going. I mean, our defenses, we got a lot of key opponents coming back this year, but also we got a lot of good guys transferring and incoming freshmen. And here's the other thing. I mentioned this to Jackson actually last week to 2 weeks ago. The news of Junior Seau's son's coming to Ohio State to play both linebacker and defensive line. So that news is coming around Buckeye fans, as far as I know, in the news. And then obviously Marvin Harrison Jr.'s younger brother just committed this past June. Another Buckeye legend's son committed this past June. So they'll be in the class of 27. So, I mean, our offensive defense is just adding weapons. I mean, with Sells going to Indiana, Sells missed out on joining a great team, in my opinion, a super team to be particular. Because Chris Henry Jr. and Jeremiah Smith would have gained over 1,000+ receiving yards. Quite honestly.
The moment I read something about where I read something about Cincinnati being one of the main reasons why he recruited Julio Jones to Alabama in 2008. for the '08 recruiting class, that told me right there. Okay, there's a pretty good chance it's basically going to come down to Indiana, Alabama, or Ohio State, because it's like,
Yeah, but at the same time, like I said, Jackson, you have the chance to join a super team.
yeah,
In college football is the most hated, but at the same time, the most dominant super team, the Ohio State University Buckeyes. Now, I'm not trying to say Alabama's not a super team. It's just that Ohio State has a lot of weapons up and down the offensive and defensive roster. So I'm just saying in honesty, Sales and even DGG could have came, had the chance. But you know what? That's the unique thing about it, is that they can come, next year. They could transfer and say, you know what? This system didn't fit. Or I had some issues. Come to Ohio State. Hey, our doors are open. So, that's the other thing.
Well, all right, man. We will see you next week. You stay safe, stay cold, stay away from that heat, my guy.
It's actually not been terrible up here as far as weather going. It's actually been like in the low 80s, high 70s. So it hasn't been really terrible. But I mean, what can I say? Oh gosh, weather's been good, and college football's coming around the corner, less than 47 days away. Ohio State kicking it off strong and kicking it off, sending that message clear. We're going back to the national title, and we're going to win a 10th undisputed national championship. And that, my friends, is a fact. And nobody on God's green earth is going to stop this super team of a loaded team on defense and offense. Now, our defense, I will say, in the next year, is really going to be, in my opinion, similar to 2011 Baltimore Ravens. Just that aggressiveness, just that mentality. And in my opinion, our offense is almost like 2013 Denver Broncos, except it'll be like the 2015 Carolina Panthers, where Travion St. Clair, when he is the starting quarterback for Ohio State, he's really going to take this offense to a whole new level. So I'm honestly excited. And Arthur Smith, he's done a phenomenal job as OC, and I'm just ready for this season to start really rolling. So
there we go.
I guess I'll just leave it with a roll, Buckeyes, roll, and let's get that 10th national title, boys. I need one on the thumb here, boys. Where's that ring to go on this thumb? Like, come on, I need to complete the set.
Oh, you can have this one if you want it, but you gotta
come on,
get it.
Jackson. I need Ohio State to help me complete the set. I need that 10th ring. Come on now. It wouldn't hurt, or an 11th ring. It wouldn't hurt. Come on now. Hey, I like 5 national titles in my lifetime, Jackson. I mean, I've got 02, 2014, 24, and then this will be number 4, and then obviously, like, come on, Ohio State. I need another ring.
We'll go ahead. All right, man. We'll see you next week, buddy. You have an awesome weekend, man. We'll see you.
Hey, soon. Jackson, roll, Buckeyes, roll, my boy.
And roll time, roll. All right, that was a fun one.
Something I want to talk about, hopefully with our next caller, but something I really, really want to talk about is on SEC Media Days. Did you see Will Stein's comment?
Oh, yeah, but
where he said Kentucky's going to win because of me. And I mean, hey,
that's like some Nardo type energy.
I like confidence, but it did feel Signetti inspired, kind of. I don't know if it meant that way, but like Signetti, I wouldn't Google me, and that's what everybody just never forgets with that. Well, it's like you got Will Stein saying they're gonna win because of me. It's like I'm just very intrigued how people take that, whether they think he's gonna succeed, whether if he doesn't succeed, are people gonna throw that back at him? Because I mean, again, I like the confidence. I wonder what chat and our next caller thinks about that. So
there we go. We got a loaded lineup. From our callers, we got Burt's. After that, we got Godfather of the SEC and Will ND. So we're going to do a 7-minute, 30-second call for each call. How you doing tonight, good buddy Burks?
Dude, great week, man. Ward is gone. Oh my God. That was amazing. And monsoon sales, dude. What did I say about Indiana getting? I'm telling you, Indiana's recruiting, dude. They have it, dude. They have the donors, man, to get like one guy. But I will say, man, Alabama missing on him. Yeah, there is something not. There is some little issue with Alabama right now, and I think they should just do like go to the portal, do stuff like that. But
I
like,
think Alabama's just kind of saving up for the 2027
and that's
portal.
what I heard. Courtney Morgan is like really trying to like use the finances and stuff like that. Apparently, he's trying to save money, and he's not trying to like a person has to stay in Bama. They just can't leave after 1 year. That's what I'm hearing. But
Yeah.
that's something Michigan should do as well, honestly, after Ty Haywood left and a couple other people. But so I actually want to discuss about the. All right, so I'm just really here to call. I'm not really here. Sorry to say this, guys, but I'm not really here to talk about the Will Stein. I don't really care about the SEC really
I
much.
just thought it was funny. I thought it was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, I think it is funny. I agree. I think your next caller, Godfather, would be better on this. But I want to actually compare our programs for a sec. All
Okay.
right. So okay, so I do want to talk about it has to do with award stuff, but okay, so I want to talk. How is your media like the Alabama football media? Because okay, let me discuss about Michigan media. They are the biggest fucking liars in the world. Okay, they really are truly the worst media I think, and one of the most in college football. They lie, they sunshine pump all day. The only respectable people are John U. Bacon, Chilingus, these people. That's it. Rest are all clowns. Isaiah Hall's a clown. Okay. Chris Ballas is a clown. Chris Ballas made up the whole damn Ryan Day's brother story about the cheating shit, whatever. All right. Sam Webb, right? When Sharon Moore came, the Sharon Moore scandal and stuff about the girls and stuff, right? He said, "Oh, there's no rumor or no, there's these rumors, but it's like all untrue and stuff." And you know what? Let me tell you something, dude. I'm gonna say this, but I actually respect Voice of College Football Michigan because they don't lie. They don't lie to their audience. Okay, so and that's I respect that, dude. They tell what they hear, and that's it, right? That's how it should be. Okay. But Michigan media are such big freaking liars, dude. It is the saddest crap ever. Like, I'm really mad with them, dude. And when a lot of stuff came out and award stuff and all that, and they lie again, right? So I want to know, what is Alabama's football media like? Do you guys sunshine pump a lot? Do you guys lie a lot? Do you guys, what is it like compared to Michigan?
I'll be honest with you, it's like although
Yeah.
it's like some people are kind of like a little nervous about where things are heading right now with the Crimson Tide, but I don't think a lot of us agree with like what Stephen A. Smith was saying on First Take, where he was just like really talking about how DeBoer is just not wanting the smoke that comes with the position. And I'm kind of like, dude, don't ever whoever decided it's a good idea to ask Stephen A. Smith about college football, it really needs to kind of get it out of their pay, honestly. Like, seriously, don't ever ask Stephen A. Smith about college football.
I think a lot of teams media. I can't say definitively because I don't pay attention to enough of them to know for sure. But I mean, just from reading articles like Indiana articles, Alabama, and listening to certain media questions, I mean, you have a mix on a lot of these programs where some of them are, like no matter what's going on, they always have a positive spin, or they try to be optimistic, or as mentioned in chat, kind of like yes men or whatever from Will and D, but others are going to be more critical and vocal about, issues or whatever, and asking tougher questions. It's just, it just depends on, I guess, the landscape of that program, or like the media around there. It's just like, if, you have more like honest people that are like, hey, you have like leeway, to to kind of, I mean, obviously within parameters, but like leeway to, write what you want or ask what you want. It's going to be more authentic versus if everyone's kind of following, the same script that everyone else is. I mean, there's in media in general, there's a lot of areas of media where people feel that's the case, and sports is no different. I mean, a lot of, you can watch like multiple different shows and they're all saying the exact same thing. Now, if that happens, it's not always the case that it's like everyone's following a script. It could just be the fact that everybody agrees on the same point, and that's the popular opinion because it's right. It could be, have a lot of facts backed up or not. But I can't really say definitively because, I mean, I know, through reading some Alabama media and stuff, some of them are kind of like fans / media where, like they're kind of media because they have YouTube channels, but they're fans. They're not like professional, like in the media, but like they're brutal toward Alabama. They're like, they're like, oh, we're crap right now. We got to get back to what we were under Saban and stuff like that. But like more like people actually like in media are going to be kinder overall. They're going to, not ask as tough of questions and stuff. I mean, it's really a tough question. I mean, it really is. I mean, like you even said with Michigan, a lot of them are very kind to a fault and positive on Michigan no matter what's going on. But like you mentioned, there's a few outliers. So I think that's pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, I noticed like, as we heard more about, Ward Manuel, before we got that report from Pete Thamel and the video that we got from John D'Animo on Michigan at the Voice of College Football about Ward Manuel, I noticed that the Michigan fan base was very divided on the athletic director. Some of them were defending him, even though, the record of the way Ward Manuel has handled things at Michigan has not been very good. I mean, yes, you had Jim Harbaugh, but people need to remember, he's not the guy that brought Jim Harbaugh back to Ann Arbor. And he reluctantly brought in Dusty May, because I don't think, he wanted to bring in somebody else. I forget the name, but it was from, I think it was from a different school. It was from not like somebody from the Atlantic 10, but it was somebody. But anyway,
You think Michigan? You think Michigan will go after Courtney Morgan on Alabama?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay, because he's a Michigan man, and there was rumors that in December he was on the campus, but I don't know if it's a rumor, but I don't know if that's true or not. This was during the DeBoer, like oh, he could take the Michigan job and stuff like that. But,
Yeah, I mean, I was just kind of like, yeah, no, that's not happening. Like we were both just kind of like, that's a load of horse dung.
like Courtney Morgan, I like Courtney Morgan just because he actually does stuff at least. Ward Manuel, he was just a lazy person, Like I'm gonna be honest,
He
dude.
like the kind of guy that didn't know whether he got shot in the butt or not.
Dude, what's awful about Ward?
Dumb he looked.
You know what's so crazy about Ward, dude, is that he actually could have had a chance to like keep Harbaugh, even with the whole Connor Stanley stuff. Because think about it, right? Harbaugh could have said, but like, oh yeah, I want you guys to fight for me for the NCAA. Give me the contract, but you promise me that the university will fight. And yeah, Ward could have done something like that, or Dusty May as well. But he's such a clown, and it's actually so sad, man. Like Ward just did. Dude, he was just so lazy. I'm sorry.
Oh,
like,
he was terrible. I mean,
my God, dude. I'm so happy he's gone, dude. And it's like a blessing, honestly. And any fan who thinks like
another thing about
Yeah,
like Ward Manuel was like every time something was going on Michigan,
yeah,
like forget hearing like First Take talking about, forget hearing Fox Sports, CBS Sports talking about it. When the Juwan Howard stuff was happening, you had like political people talking about it, putting it on their news articles, right? And then all that stuff that was happening with Sharon Moore, you had political people on there talking about. I think like even Breaking Points with Crystal and Sagar were talking about that. If you got political people talking about you, not once, not twice, but every time you have something major going on in your program, clearly you're doing something wrong in your leadership.
Well, I mean, definitely like most fans prefer, sports and politics being separate, but I mean, sometimes things get messy, they kind of intertwine. I mean, the whole, stuff with the Supreme Court and everything, and all the rulings, trying to figure out the NCAA with the portal and NIL and all this type of stuff. I mean, that happens.
Well,
I mean, when you've got investigations and stuff going on, I mean, like the Sharon Moore stuff was insane. I mean, of course, other media is going to talk about it in sports, so it's not a shock at all. But I do 100% agree with you, Jackson, that when that's the case, it's bad. I mean, obviously,
yeah.
The problem is that again, you've got some people out there that I don't want to say are delusional, but I mean they love their team, and it's like, well, Michigan, we won 2 national titles under Warde Manuel, so it's fine. It's like,
no,
really?
It's not fine.
Like, I mean,
you got to clean house.
I kind of feel it's like Kirby and Georgia. Like, great, you've got 2 national championships, great, but like looking at the program right now and thinking that's good. Georgia's good right now. I just that's kind of,
it's gonna take one bad
like, they're not good. They're winning. Like Michigan's successful.
Oh, yeah.
Their football team's been winning. Their basketball team's been winning. But is the program in good shape?
It just takes one big story. It just takes one big story, like one big situation out of Georgia happening where a player is doing something they shouldn't, or a coach is doing something they shouldn't, and it gets blown up to the point where which, again, forget the media and the sports media, like the ESPNs and the Fox Sports of the world's talking about it. If you hear the political people talking about it in any way, shape, or form, political YouTubers, cable news networks, you're putting your it's going to get out. It's got to get out. Now, if Georgia can take a page on what not to do from what Warde Manuel is doing, then there's a chance that they don't have to worry about their business anymore being kind of out there. They just got to make sure their players are not drinking and driving. They got to make sure that they know how to call Uber. They know how to call like whichever driving service. It
shouldn't really be that complicated, right?
I know, right?
I understand that things happen. Again, I've said that before. Like, nobody's perfect. People make mistakes. You learn from mistakes, all that type of stuff. The issue is that it's a recurring problem over and over and over. To me, speaks to a larger culture problem. And I just feel that fans of teams that only look at the win-loss and they watch the games, and as long as their program is winning and they don't pay attention to anything else, but when they are confronted or they hear about what's going on with their program and it's negative stuff, and then they defend it because you're winning, that's where I get frustrated. Because you can be excited your program's winning. I mean, obviously you're a fan. It makes sense. Like, hey, we won a natty, or hey, we're having a great year. All that types. That's great. But then to defend all of the garbage that is happening at your program, that is happening. It's true. It's not false. It's actually happening, and you defend it like, oh well, we're winning. It doesn't matter. Yes, it does. It does matter. You can separate the two. Like, hey, I'm so proud of my guys. Georgia was great. Michigan was great this year. We had a great team. I'm excited. I'm proud of all that type of stuff. Fantastic. But still not condone or defend things that are wrong. And like I said, a lot of people can separate the two, but there's a lot of people, at least on the internet, that just don't. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, well, it's fine. Georgia, they could keep doing all that all day long as they keep winning. That is just such a bad take. It really is. I mean, even if you're joking, I guess, but it's just you're condoning bad behavior. It's like if Georgia was going 5-7 every year and their players were doing all that, then you'd be like, oh, this is ridiculous. Culture problem. It's crap. It's got to stop. But oh, well, we won a natty, or oh, we're winning the SEC championship every year. We're doing fine, so it's okay. It's not. I mean, I don't feel like that's a controversial opinion.
No.
Like if Alabama was having all of these problems and we were winning, I would come on the show like we do and be like, hey, I'm proud of our team. We're doing a great job.
I've seen Jeffrey talk about
the off the court and off the field stuff. It's got to get fixed.
I've seen Jeffrey talk about I've seen him condemn the Brandon Sexton situation where he was like, hey, Not okay to be covering up for him. Not okay. So it's like you can definitely take our word for it.
Well, I was really frustrated when the Alabama fans after that game, after the game after that happened with Brandon Miller and all those people, they had the T-shirts and stuff. I mean, they were using that situation and making a publicity stunt out of it, and it's like, dude, I mean, someone died. I mean, that's terrible. I don't know, man. Like again, you can love your team. I love Alabama, like Indiana a lot. North Carolina. Like I love my programs that I root for. I mean, but you do stuff wrong, I'm not gonna like it. I mean, I'm not gonna agree with it, and I'm gonna be like, hey, we need to fix this. But I'm still going to be excited my program's winning. I'm never telling people not to be excited your program's winning, but when you defend it because you're winning, when you defend bad actions because you're winning, then that to me is when the line gets crossed to me.
Well, and chat, let me know what you think of this. And Michigander, feel free to comment on this. So I've got some athletic director candidates for Michigan in mind.
That's the Indiana one. I want the Indiana one right away. Give me the Indiana one.
Yeah, but there's some other guys.
Oh, really?
Everybody always wants the Indiana one.
Yeah, of course, man. What the hell? We're Michigan fans.
They want Signetti.
Yeah, that's what we are. Yeah, obviously, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway. So David
Indiana, I feel like Indiana after. Sorry, Jackson. I feel like Indiana after decades and over a century of failure that they deserve to have some time where they're good before anybody takes their AD or they lose all their coordinators or Signetti retires or whatever. Like they deserve to be good for a little bit. I you know what I mean? Like
no, dude, Jeffrey, I'm sorry to say this, dude, but I'm really salty of Indiana right now. We can't have that happening. All right. The best teams have to be the blue bloods. They're the ones that should only be winning championships. That's my views. Sorry to say it, but we can't have Indiana be dynasties.
Hey, Indiana though.
Yeah.
Well,
Indiana literally gave all the programs out there, at least in the Big Ten and the SEC, hope that maybe they can replicate that. Like Kentucky right now, their fans with Will Stein, oh my gosh, because of me, we're gonna win a natty like Signetti. So you know what? It gave fans hope. That's gonna drive engagement up.
So,
that drives belief. So it's a good thing. It's a net positive here.
So here's who I'm thinking. David Benedict of UConn, because I mean this guy had, for once you see UConn football winning. I mean, you got Jim Moore Jr. winning at UConn, and now you got Jason Candle from Toledo to UConn. And I got to feel Jason Candle's going to get things rolling at Toledo football. I mean, everybody keeps talking about like how he was able to keep Dan Hurley away from the Lakers, right? By giving that lucrative contract extension. But nobody's really thinking about the football program and how that's been thriving. I mean, these are like the best years since 2010 when they won the Big East, which, I mean, yeah, I get it. It was like an 8-4 year. And then they, went on that winning streak for the regular season. I mean, you remember them as the team that got smacked by Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl on New Year's Day. I mean, that was an abysmal game, of course. But still, though, like you saw them winning with Randy Edsall, but you see them winning with Jim Moore Jr., and you're going to see them winning with Jason Candle.
Let me ask you a question, Jackson, really quick. Why did Jason Candle go to UConn?
I feel like his agent had a little more something to do with it.
To me, I felt it came power 4 possibly potential. I mean, Indiana was rumored with him back before Signetti.
Yeah.
He was a big time candidate that was thought of. So I mean, it's something against UConn, like that's fantastic. Yeah. Obviously, agent or AD was able to land him. Like that's great for UConn, but Toledo to UConn, I don't know. I mean, it's just interesting. He was at Toledo for a decade. Guy. It's just interesting.
Another one too, Josh Whitman from Illinois.
No.
You don't want Josh Whitman?
No, man. I think I want Indiana, and the reason why is Not only
No,
did he turn around the football
that's not
program,
gonna happen. I'm telling you.
but the basketball program, and look at all the transfer portal people and stuff. Like they are doing NIL Indiana. That is why I want Indiana. It's not because they're actually doing NIL. Like their NIL is starting to go the right direction. That's what we need right now. Ours is too, but like I just like as long as he has no scandals. Because let me tell you guys, all right, let me tell you something. You guys should be blessed as Alabama fans that you never had an AD or your current AD or previous one did not have to have scandals like that. You don't understand, dude, like how much it destroyed, like following Michigan sports, and not only that, dude. Our university, okay, the fact that they spent $12 million on that damn finding, all right, of the Sharon Moore stuff, right, with that lawyer stuff, 12 million, dude. We could have used that money for freaking NIL, and not only that, too, man. You could have, like what Dan Wetzel said, you could have used AI for that. You see, this University of Michigan has so much freaking money, and they use it the worst way. And guess what? We have freaking regents, okay? Who betray our university. You know Justin Spiro, Jackson and Jeffrey.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
I saw him on the Michigan channel. I've been seeing him on ads.
okay. Yeah, let me tell you something. He gets his information, okay, Justin Spiro, from a regent, and I'll tell you his name. His name is Jordan Aker. Jordan Aker is by far the biggest trader of any regent in any university. He is giving information to guys like Spiro and stuff. That's how Spiro knows a lot of stuff, and that's why he's right on a lot of stuff. 'Cause he's getting information from Jordan Aker, man. And Jordan Aker, I was so happy his house got vandalized and like crap like that. He deserves it. He is the most corrupted regent, one of the most. He's betraying the university he works at. And you guys don't have to deal with that crap. It's so sad that we have to deal with the politics of University of Michigan as a fan, and you guys don't have to deal with it. You guys should be blessed. You guys should be, okay? Because it's freaking hell. Okay, we have regents betraying our university. All right, or well, the university I root for. I'm a Walmart Wolverine, but you know what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
So
the next two guys I wanted to bring up were Josh Whitman of Illinois because I like what he
mhm.
did for the Illinois program. I like that he got Lovie Smith for the football program. And when people are tuning into your college football team in the month of March, it's usually for bad news, like really ugly news, like violations, scandals, coaches doing something he shouldn't be doing, players are doing something they shouldn't be doing. But no, you had like pardon the interruption, just bragging about Lovie Smith coming over to Illinois. Now, the Lovie Smith era did not work out the way Illinois wanted. They only had one sits and sits year under Lovie Smith, and that was in the 2019 season. But other than that, the 2020 season was like, okay, this experiment did not work out the way I wanted. I'm going to fix it. Fires Lovie Smith. What does he do? Replace him with Brett Bielema. It's been working out thus far in Champaign, Illinois. But I love what he's done with Brad Underwood. He was like, okay, the John Gross era is not working out for basketball. I'm going to hire a guy who's winning at Kansas State. I'm getting Brad Underwood. I am getting him over to be my Nets head coach for men's basketball. That's a win right there. Ren Baker from West Virginia, I think, would be a humongous win. I mean, I'm loving what he's doing with the West Virginia program as a whole. I mean, think about this. He's been there since November 2022. He's had to deal with a rough situation with that whole Bob Huggins scenario where Bob Huggins was saying and was throwing out slurs they shouldn't be using on Cincinnati radio station. Therefore, was like, okay, gotta make a call, gotta suspend him because I gotta do what I gotta do. And then a couple weeks later, there was another situation happening. Bob Huggins was out drinking and driving, and he didn't want to get rid of Bob Huggins, but he's like, okay, I gotta get rid of this guy. I gotta get rid of him. And we saw what happened with the football program, right? Neil Brown was not doing what he was supposed to be doing at West Virginia. And he decides, you know what? I'm going to do what West Virginia needs. We got to bring back Rich Rod. What we're seeing
The
with
only tough thing was getting Darian DeVries, and then he stayed only a year. And obviously West Virginia fans don't like Indiana because of that. And I mean that is a tough burn. I mean, still not as bad as what Will Wade did with NC State. That still was worse. But I mean, Darian DeVries. I mean, a lot of West Virginia fans thought he was going to be there for a long time, and he only stayed a year. That was tough. But I mean, I agree. I do agree that Ren Baker's done a lot of good for West Virginia. I mean, the thing I liked about the Bob Huggins situation is the fact that he didn't fire him immediately. I mean, he basically gave him another chance, on him. And then I mean, Bob Huggins has had that same issue before when he was at Cincinnati. He got in trouble for, what he got in trouble for at the end at West Virginia. So it's unfortunate because, I mean, he was a very beloved coach, and West Virginia fans still like him a lot. It sucks, but I do think he handled it pretty good. So I definitely agree with you on that.
And I like, like the women's basketball program is winning, the baseball team is winning. I mean, there's just a whole lot of winning. Michigander has another couple ideas for candidates. Jim Nagy at Oklahoma. TJ wants to go after Pat Kraft from Penn State. Well, I mean, we're definitely going to wait and see what happens because that's going to be a wild ride. But Bert's, any other comments? We went a little longer than planned. We got to get to our next callers as we have kept them waiting longer than they should have.
Yeah, no, just ready for college football, and be grateful that you guys have a AD who doesn't get himself into scandals. And actually, you guys are a fan of a program that they want to achieve greatness and stay there. Because Michigan, we achieve greatness, but then we don't stay there. We don't. Okay, it's unfortunate to say this, sadly, but Ohio State wants to badly achieve a greatness and stay there more than Michigan. And I'm just going to say it. All right. So, I don't want to say it, right? But, that's why I'm so mad with the Dusty May. And by the way, I am not forgiving Dusty May for how he just pulled another Jim Harbaugh. Right. So I'm pretty mad at that. But no, just be grateful that you guys have an AD who, does that. And hopefully Michigan can find a good AD. And hopefully that AD will not have any scandals, and we'll achieve greatness for a while. So hopefully, so fingers crossed. But appreciate you guys, honestly, and take care. Yeah.
All right, you take care, good buddy.
Of course. Yeah, take care.
All right, so before we get to our next callers, we've got to get to a $1 super sticker from our buddy Cade the Diesel Freak. We appreciate the $1 super sticker. And, if you want to get your message out there, you really want to have it read, put it in super chat or put it in super sticker, and we will make sure to read it. But if you can't be able to put in a super chat or put in a super sticker, no worries. That's why you see on the ticker down below to like, comment, subscribe. Click on the notification bell to Alabama with the Boys College Football so you never miss another video whatsoever. And we've got our next caller, and you know him, you love him. He's really gonna party like an alley cat. He is the godfather of the SEC. How you doing tonight, there, buddy?
I'm good. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing pretty
we're
good.
Doing all right.
Jeffrey from Only Talk Sports. We talk sports even on vacation, or at least he tries to. There it is.
Yeah, it was tough to miss last week. It would have been a ton of fun, but glad to be back and appreciate it, Godfather. But already a lot of great conversations tonight. I mean, definitely, it's interesting, to think about, Michigan's situation. Like, will they finally be able to turn a corner if they get a good AD? So where they can combine winning and their program being run well. And then again, Kentucky, I mean, that, like I said, I mean, everybody's just kind of like not talking about that. I thought that was one of the most hilarious stories of the media days. I mean, you've got a guy that has basically no track record at all as a head coach. He's 0-0, right? He was coordinator. Like when Cignetti made the statement, I wouldn't Google me and, Purdue sucks, but so does Michigan, Ohio State and all that got people talking about Indiana back in 2024. Cignetti had a proven track record of winning. The question was, could he translate it to a program like Indiana that was a universal failure? Everybody's just forgetting this. You think about Indiana, they just won a natty, and are they going to be able to keep it up? The narrative before is that Indiana was the losingest program in the Power Four. Power 5, whatever. Could he win? Because his record, he was 119-35 at all those programs at, Elon and IUP or all these little schools, right? Like he and James Madison, he had success at every single one of those places, and he was under Saban. But could it translate? So people thought he was full of crap when he said it, and he wasn't, because he's, along with NIL help, I agree, but not as good as some of these other programs. But because they're still, even though they're getting an occasional 5-star now, they're only one in history. Most of the recruits are still 3-stars. He's winning. And is it sustainable? We'll see, but he's winning. And he proved that he could win. This guy hasn't won anything. He was a good coordinator, but he hasn't won anything. And again, is it, I guess, as overconfident as I win Google Me? No. But the comment is it's just interesting. I listened to it, and the reporter asked, him, and he's answering. He's like, Kentucky's going to win because of me. I mean, theoretically.
Sounds like Naruto, man.
Theoretically, that is true. If you are winning, it is because of the coach. If you are losing, it's because of the coach. But it's also because of your coordinators. It's also because of your players, right? It takes a team effort. It's just, I feel that this could be interpreted worse than what Cignetti said, because when Cignetti said, I win Google Me, it was factual, right? Like, it was the truth. He had won everywhere he's been. And a lot of people, to be fair, did not know who the heck he was. And he did set a stir. I mean, he got everybody talking about him. And overnight became one of the most popular coaches in college football. And then when he started winning and backing it up, I mean, Cignetti's up there with Ryan Day and Kirby and Kalen DeBoer right now. I mean, he's talked about just as frequently. He was on the cover. I mean, it's completely changed Cignetti's, career. And it's changed Indiana's trajectory as a program as it retires. The difference here is that Will Stein has nothing to go off of. I mean, this is his first job. And, I feel like because of me, yeah, you have to assemble a staff. You got a lot to do, but it's just, I think that, honestly, for Will Stein, I hope he has success. Because, again, if he doesn't, then that quote is going to get just, you know what I'm saying? It's going to get burned and etched into the lexicon of Will Stein's existence, and no one's ever going to stop talking about it. I mean, it's a bold thing to say. It really, really, I mean, the I win Google Me was too, but to say they're going to win because of me, well, if they lose, everybody's going to like, they're losing because of you, So I don't know. It's just, I like the confidence. I'm just shocked more people aren't talking. Maybe it's because it's Kentucky. But I'm surprised more people aren't talking about that quote.
Oh, for sure, man. Godfather.
See, no one cares. We're moving on already. I'm telling you, it's interesting, man. It is an interesting quote. Again, you think about it. Kentucky football has been dead for years at this point, right? Mark Stoops had it going for a little bit, but it's dead. Is this guy? I wanted to reel MVP on. I would love to have Darrell MVP on because he's a Kentucky fan. I want to hear what he has to say about it, because to me, this is a big thing, especially the title of the show is what we learned at SC Media Days. I definitely want to hear Darrell MVP's thoughts on Will Stein.
Well, we'll definitely get to hear what he's got to say because he is in the chat. So we'll definitely get to hear what he's got to say in a bit after we get to Will and after we get to hear what Godfather's got to say about what he saw from Crimson Tide. Because, I mean, like, again, I'm kind of curious to see how we'll do. Like, I like what things are going to be going for in fall camp. Like, I'm excited what fall camp's going to bring.
Well, your defensive players on Alabama's defenses, they're set. They may have a championship run defense, which I'll never change my mind. Defense always wins championships. I'm sorry. You have to put points on the board, yeah, but the other team can't score. You don't have to put many. So, I mean, I think he's got all the pieces on the defense, the offensive side of the ball. I mean, I don't know. Alabama won 7 out of 8 SEC games last year. Yeah, they got steamrolled by Georgia in the SEC championship game. Indiana steamrolled them, but they got Oklahoma, got one win, 11-4. I don't know. I thought about it pretty hard last year. I think Lane Kiffin made a big mistake by leaving Ole Miss and going to LSU. I think if Lane Kiffin would have stayed at Ole Miss, I think you'd have saw Ole Miss and Indiana in the championship game.
I am looking forward to I was pretty excited seeing what Zabien Brown had to say, especially when he talked about the Iron Bowl, where he was like growing up on the West Coast. He was pretty unfamiliar with it. He's like, it's a good rivalry, so what? But as he's gotten to play in it, he's like, I hate those guys. I thought that was pretty cool right there.
Yeah. I mean, it's always been a in-state battle. I remember it from a long, long time ago. I mean, might have been even worse back then. I mean, you had to go to the game to be there 95% of the time because you didn't see it. Well, you saw it. ABC pulled a lot of Alabama's games because of Coach Bryant and the winning and all the wins he had. And I mean, that helped because ABC knew that they were going to get viewership. So they had to put them on TV. So, but the stadium was always packed. At Legion Field, it was packed. I mean, we made the change to Auburn back to Tuscaloosa. And I remember the single ring, two rings at Bryant Denny. I mean, it's grown a lot, that field has. But I mean, I don't know. I heard Coach Zabien talking to Dan yesterday. He loves Lane Kiffin, still does, and you can tell that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they may have been at one another's throats, but they love one another. They're like I don't know. I guess the odd couple. I guess I don't know. But anyway, I mean, do you think You think Ole Miss would have been in the championship game last year if Lane would have stayed?
I think it would have been the same old, honestly. I don't think, because like Lane Kiffin just can't win the big games in the postseason or in the regular season for that matter.
I mean, I think they would have had a better chance.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, their chances would have increased. I mean, they were pretty close anyway, if you think about it. But I mean, you got a great point, Jackson, that, I mean, he has fallen short.
He can't beat Bama.
But I do agree that, I mean, 99.9% that I feel like most college football fans would have preferred if Lane Kiffin stayed at Ole Miss. Yeah. And he would have, I mean, I understand that coaches should be able to move. Like, yeah, Kalen DeBoer was at Washington, and he left, and he went to Alabama. But I mean, you don't see many Washington fans having ill remorse, towards or feeling ill will towards Kalen DeBoer. It's like, man, I wish we could have kept him, but it's like, it's okay. I mean, the Kalen DeBoer move and the Lane Kiffin moves are two totally different moves. The Lane Kiffin situation was handled awfully.
There's always drama with Lane Kiffin leaves.
You got him sitting there. Like, I'm trying to defend the guy for a bit at first, but then he's sitting there on the set, and they're asking questions stuff, and like he's like, you guys just don't know how hard it is with the situation. Like, it's like you're making it hard. Like, if you had just left and went to LSU anyway, then it would have been, people would have been upset, but it wouldn't have been like this. You drew it out. And you gave Ole Miss fans hope that you were going to stay, and then you didn't. And I mean, like I said, again, Lane did the decision that he made. I don't know the guy. Nick Saban and him have a good relationship, and other people have a great relationship with him. Awesome. I got nothing against Lane Kiffin. I don't know him personally.
I really don't care.
The situation was handled badly, and now the vast majority of college football fans don't like him. And again, I don't know or whether he cares, whether he's liked or not. I mean, at the end of the day, most of the time people say it doesn't matter whether people like you or not. But in this situation, if 99.9% of college football fans dislike how it was done and how it was handled, and now Lane Kiffin is that unlikable, especially after what happened with the Tennessee and USC stuff back in the 2010s, late 2010, whatever, that tells you something, that maybe I shouldn't have done it like that. Maybe it should have been a little bit better, whatever. I don't know. It's just, to me, Lane Kiffin had a really good chance here to, have that redemption story. It was like, hey, I'm remaining at Ole Miss, and, we've built a great thing here, and we're going to keep going. And I think people would like that. Or maybe eventually if he had left for an LSU or an Alabama one day, but done it better, then it wouldn't have been bad. But the way this was handled, it was crap. And
I don't want him near Bama.
All I know is if LSU wanted him, I understand they wanted the transfers and all that crap, but he should have been able to stay at Ole Miss and coach the playoffs. But that's how messed up the system is, right? Well, he's got to come to LSU now so we can start recruiting and whatever. I mean, I don't care. It was a crappy handled situation, and I don't blame Ole Miss fans for being mad. I don't blame the vast majority of college football fans for being mad. I don't blame them. I don't.
Next thing,
I hope Ole Miss just beats LSU. I want to see karma come for Lane Kiffin so bad. Because
next thing Bama's got to do is
that crap at the media days where he's like, my son told me to stay off social media and he challenged me and I won it. See, it's like that's just some PR crap. That's some PR crap. We saw that last year. I mean, because look, we love Coach Saban, but stop condoning Lane Kiffin because y'all have the same freaking agent. I don't care that y'all got the same freaking agent. No, you need to just be like, no, these are the same problems we had from January of 2017. But it's like, no, I wouldn't want to be friends. I don't care. I don't care. I don't ever want Lane Kiffin to go to Bama ever because he's going to do that crap. He did that crap to Tennessee. He's done that crap to Ole Miss. He was pulling this crap with the Raiders. He's done it to Bama in 2017 when he was pulling his crap for Florida Atlantic, being like, oh, I'm not leaving. Oh, yes, you are. I mean, defending Lane Kiffin about anything is like Harley Quinn being in love with the Joker. That's what that's like. I will go as far as make that comparison because it's kind of like that. She's like, Mr. J loves me. No, he don't love you. He cares about beating the crap out of Batman. He cares more about that than you.
I don't know, man. The only other thing I gotta say is DeBoer's gonna have to. Special teams has looked pretty bad the last 3 years or 2 years. We've got to be able to return a. I mean, you got to be able to return a kick every now and then. You go a punt or, I mean, you got Talty's probably going to be your kicker, but the other kid probably made the most pressured kicks. What's his name? The other kid that was kicking, I can't think of his name.
Oh, Larson Quinn for Alabama.
Yeah, he might have made some of the.
I think he's going to be great for
He
Alabama.
might have made some of the. He was kicking with Talty last year, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he made some of the more.
Talty was kicking last year.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm like I said, I go back to the old heads. Defense and special teams, you always have to be sound on special teams. Coach Bryant said that time and time and time again. If you're not, it'll beat you. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, does Alabama lose 2 games? Everybody's saying 2 games. One of them says LSU. The other one says Georgia will be the 2 games they're going to lose. So, I mean,
I think Bama's going to beat Georgia. I think that's what's going to happen.
And I mean, it's all like I said. It's always been a battle. We always meet up in the SEC championship.
For sure.
I get tired of seeing Alabama have to play them myself. It's not because they beat us. It's just anyway. I'm not going to people. Alabama's going to go out on their own and create their own league, have their own championship.
Oh yeah.
You can go your own way if you got the money to do it.
There you go.
I mean, it's. I don't care what they do. I mean, is it going to hurt? Is it going to hurt the viewership? With ABC or whatever, CBS, ESPN, what would they have to give for the championship game if the SEC wasn't there?
Yeah,
I don't think they would last long, but I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Well, I don't think Alabama's going to go out on their own unless things just go completely to shit, which it could be. But Alabama told you, and other colleges too, even Auburn, we don't agree with this bill they're passing. We don't like it, and we're not going to accept it. So, I mean, I guess Saban will have to go up there and politic for him. I guess if he can find Sleepy Don somewhere. But anyway, lot of money. Anyway, y'all be good. It's Thursday night. Lot of money. So anyway,
There we go.
We'll see what happens here. And I can't. Somebody asked me who you think might. I don't know. I mean, y'all got Georgia, and who'd y'all say y'all have Georgia and who in the SEC championship game? Texas.
Well, I've got Georgia, Texas in the SEC title game. I don't know who Jeffrey's got for his SEC title preview.
Well, like
But-
Alabama.
Yeah, I haven't made any picks yet.
But we'll definitely wait and see, man.
I still go back to Alabama in the SEC championship.
I think Alabama's a playoff team, but I feel
Well,
like we're going to have like a conference game again in the first round. I want to see it be Alabama Ole Miss so bad.
9 conference games is tough. You walk through this field unscathed. You've done something. The only team that's actually walked through this has already done that. It was the 2020 team. I mean, they walked through it unscathed. I mean, but still, I don't know. Like I said, maybe the defense can help the offense out so they can get it going. Maybe you said different offensive line, maybe a few better running backs than Daniel Hill. A couple more of them boys go to get some holes where they're not getting killed all the time. They got to learn how to block too, and you got to put a tight end in there. I don't know. I can't think of that kid's name. What's his name? The tight end is up. I put him on Facebook. What's his name?
For Alabama?
Yeah.
We got Daniel Lewis Jr.
Nah, there was this other one. I can't think of his name now. As soon as I get thinking something, I can't think of a name. I'm not want to think of it. I'll think of it. But anyway, they're going to have to learn them tight ends how to block a little bit also. I mean, as you can see, that's not all. I don't know. The run game, the run games, I don't even know. College football has turned more to the pass than they have the run.
For sure.
I mean, it's just when you got that much that kind of talent and speed on, like Ryan Williams, we'll see what he does. He's got to prove himself this year too. I mean, there's a lot of proving, a lot of young pieces, and like DeBoer said, they got to go out there and earn it. That's the bottom line.
All right, man. Awesome as always talking with you. Goodbye. We'll definitely see you next week, man.
All right, man. Be safe. I'll see y'all next week. Be good.
Appreciate it, Godfather. Always great talking with you.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, roll.
Wait a minute before we go. I want to say this. It's going to make everybody mad. If these sports channels didn't have Alabama to talk about, hell, they wouldn't last 5 minutes on YouTube.
Exactly.
There you go. Take that one home.
Exactly. I swear it does feel like Alabama lives rent free in a lot.
Hey, that's how you know you're still relevant. Like, hey, we might not be at the top right now, but people are still talking about us. So, everything's all right. Once they stop talking about you is when you know.
I hope I didn't go too far. My little session on Lane Kiffin, but
you're fine. And same thing with the Will Stein. Like I know we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We've like shifted away from it. I just really wanted to talk about that. So it's like, hey, we sometimes get really passionate about a topic, and you just get excited about it. So you felt that way with Lane. I felt that way with Will Stein. It's no big deal at all. It's a great conversation.
I get so irritated with Lane Kiffin so much that I'm actually going to pull for Tennessee over LSU.
Dude, most people probably are going to agree with you, man. I mean, I'm telling you, he made 99.9% of college football fans mad with how that was handled and what happened. I mean, the only fans that like him now are LSU, and even some of them, I don't.
They are the next Harley Quinn. They are like Harley Quinn, being like, "Oh, Mr. Kiffin, Mr. K loves us." No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He just likes you because you make him look good on social media. That's what he's doing. All right, so we're gonna do a little something different. We're gonna bring in Will ND, and then we're gonna bring in Darrell MVP. After these two, we're gonna have Sports Talk with Austin and Lucas Hill coming on to join us. Gentlemen, how are y'all doing tonight? Well, it's been a minute, and Darrell, it's been a minute. How have y'all been?
Doing good, guys.
Awesome.
Well, Darrell, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just was, I was expecting a bit more of a conversation when there's 4 of us. So, I mean, listen, what I learned this SEC Media Days, guys, is the evaluation of the SEC is greatly undercounted because we live rent-free in everyone's heads. That's got to be worth at least a few $100 billion right there, maybe a few $1 trillion, okay? Rent-free everywhere. I mean,
how do you feel about Will Stein's comments?
Well,
that's all I care about right now.
Listen, if I was a fan of any other team, any other program, I would say these comments are reckless, irresponsible. But you know what? I'm a Kentucky fan. We're winning 10 games. We're going to the playoffs. And let me believe, since it's July 23rd, let me believe I have no evidence to support that. Our quarterback's terrible. Our offense is going to be horrible
It's
this
not
year. Our defense is
terrible.
going to be horrible. But gosh
knew
dang it,
Will
I
was gonna
have
say
to
that.
believe because it's July. We're going all the way. If Indiana can go 16-0, why can't Kentucky win a few games?
Yeah, I mean, hey, like I said, I love the confidence. Like, I don't blame him necessarily for saying it. I just think it's crazy that he's got no head coaching experience, and he said that versus Signetti, who did have proven experience. It's just
Jeffrey, it's all part of the plan. It's all part of the plan. Okay, we're gonna have fun this year. We might not win a bunch of games, and he might have egg on his face, but man, we're gonna lose games 35-62. And you know what? We're gonna score tons of touchdowns and score tons of points, and that's much more exciting than losing 21-0. Okay, I just want to have fun this year. And we're gonna have fun. We might beat a powerhouse. We almost beat Texas last year. You know, Texas was pretty good.
Beat Texas last year. Should have beat Texas last year.
Hey, you guys beat Auburn, so I was pretty happy about that.
I mean, if Kentucky had to beat Texas last year, then we wouldn't have had to hear all the endless garbage about how Texas should have been in the playoffs. So, you know, that would have been nice.
Yeah, that is true. We should have beat Ole Miss too. We should have beat them as well. But hey, we lost those games. I'm going to hope the 50-50 ball rolls our way this year. You know, we get a few bounces. Maybe a few players get hurt. And maybe it just all lines up for Kentucky. Maybe a few of the team buses have an unfortunate accident. Their tires pop along the way, and they're not able to make it to the stadium. And we get a few gimme wins. Listen, anything's possible. It's only July 23rd. So why not us, you know? We're not good enough. That's probably a good enough reason why. But hey, anything's possible, guys. Let me believe, okay?
There you go. But yeah, it was just so funny seeing Kentucky beating Auburn last year because I enjoyed it so much. Like especially when it was
Auburn losing to teams that are not great. Sorry, Kentucky last year, but you know Auburn losing to teams that are not great, it will never not be funny.
Yeah, I mean Auburn's not a great football team.
I forget. Like I know it was before Auburn played Kentucky. I wasn't sure. It was definitely before they played Arkansas, but it was after they lost to Missouri, where it was like I saw that post. You know, and I talked about with Coach Birds, and I talked about it on the Michigan channel with TJ. You know, when it happened, where there was a post about Hugh Freeze just getting down and begging, just begging for a vote of confidence from his athletic director. That just told us right there, he knew he was gone. Which that's what made Kentucky beating Auburn so enjoyable for me. I mean, how do you not enjoy it? Like enjoying seeing, you know,
this is all Alabama delusion right here.
Begging and losing because of it.
This is peak Alabama fan Jeffrey. Like just peak. I hate Auburn. That's what that is. Nobody.
I hate Freeze, but I'm not.
You
I'm
hate
not
Auburn
really
too.
By Alex Golish. I mean,
How did you feel, Jackson, when Hugh Freeze was famous at Liberty?
It's famous.
You don't remember?
Oh, dude was a pervert, man.
Dude, he coached from a
Christian school.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about when he was in the hospital bed. You don't remember that?
Oh, I remember that.
Liberty's such a. I mean, it's called a Christian school, but like. As someone, I mean, I'm Catholic. I guess I consider myself still Christian too.
You're part of the denomination. You're just on the other side. You're not on the Protestant. You're in the opposite of the Protestants, and you know you guys have had a few wars, but it's all settled down. Hopefully,
Liberty is not. The president of Liberty was hooking up with the lifeguard at the pool, man. I was like, come on, Liberty.
Forward, yeah. Yeah, because I think I saw a joke about that. It was
there's a documentary about it.
How on earth did we go from
a joke about it on Real Time with Bill Maher in August?
Hey, I shouldn't have brought Hugh Freeze was at Liberty in the hospital bed. My bad. Yeah. That was a mistake.
Yeah, Jeffrey. See what we're talking about. Listen,
I want to hear Will's comments. I want to hear Will's comments about Notre Dame or Michigan fans are more delusional because you said in chat earlier that Michigan fans are more delusional on average, like the media and stuff. And the Michigan response said, well, that's coming from a Notre Dame fan, so it don't mean much. So
it's because Notre Dame has high expectations this season. People are saying Notre Dame's delusional because we feel like we can win the national championship this season. But I mean, Kirk Herbstreit thinks we're going to win it. Mark said if you had to pick now, we'd win it. So
now how did Notre Dame become the hot topic currently? Because it was Texas a few months ago. Now that Notre Dame is seemingly the number one team on everybody's mind. What changed?
What changed is like a lot of people are saying that Notre Dame can win. Like, I mean, people thought Texas, they have the most talent, they're going to win. But people don't trust Sarkisian. People don't trust them. So that's why that Notre Dame and Ohio State are the two betting favorites now to win.
Hey, I think they looked at the schedule, Jeffrey. I think they looked at the schedule, and somebody is going to get a lot of cupcakes this season, okay? Somebody's going to get a lot of
basically,
cupcakes.
Notre Dame could go 12-0, and everybody's going to be, it's the schedule.
Yeah, listen, if they go 12-0, I don't think they should be the number one team in the country. I think no matter what Notre Dame does, they shouldn't be number one. Unless there's a bunch, like the second team is 2 lost. Sorry, when you play nobody, you get nothing.
You don't think SMU's going to be a good team?
No, I mean, good. Good is a relative term. They're going to be 9-3, 8-4, borderline top 25 team. That's solid. Are they playoff caliber? Absolutely not.
Yeah, like Duke. 8-5. Good old Duke.
What about BYU, Darrell? How do you think BYU is going to be in 2026?
I mean, they couldn't. They're probably going to end up where they were similar last year, the second, third, or fourth best team in the Big 12.
Kalani Sitake has a really good thing going, and he thought about the Penn State. I don't know how legit that was, but he's got a good thing going. He's at a school where he's pretty much like guaranteed to win a lot of games in a league that's not very good. Sorry, Big 12 fans, but for the 80th time, your conference is not very good. You're going to win games. And BYU, I mean, they have a lot of donors. They have a lot of companies supporting them in this new age NIL stuff. So it's like they have a lot of they have good fans. They have tradition. They have a lot of money being brought into the program. It's like, and he's pretty much going to be guaranteed to win games as long as he doesn't start not coaching right. I guess I don't know how you want to quantify that, but just continue to coach hard. You're probably going to win 10 games. I mean, it's not that complicated. So I mean, and he's getting paid a lot of money too. So it's like it's kind of a smart move to be at BYU, in my opinion.
People aren't gonna like this, but the BYU should the Big 12 should only be able to have one team at the playoff at a time until they win.
There you go. Hey, Will, I'm glad you're coming over to my side of the argument. Okay,
again, you are not. If the conferences were like they used to be, then we could support having multiple teams. But the Big 12 isn't good anymore. They lost their brain.
You are not what your record says you are. Okay? I want people to digest that. You can go 9-3.
People never agree to realize.
I know. I was on with Mark earlier, and he was thinking, what was the best Big Ten regular season wins? And he's like, okay, Ohio State beat Texas. And he was going through, and it's like, who else? And he just had the Jeopardy music type thing going on in the background. We determined the second best win was Illinois beat Duke. That's the best conference in America. When their second best win in the regular season is beating Duke, who lost to UConn.
Oh, Tulane and Illinois.
At least, hey, Tulane was actually a good team last year. I think Tulane might have been one of the 20 best teams in the country. Just,
I mean, Indiana did beat Alabama, but
that's not in the regular season. Jeffrey.
I know. I'm just saying, and I'm sorry, Alabama fans, because I'm still upset about that game. But
I sniffed that game out, Jeffrey. I'm sorry. I knew that IU was going to win.
Jeffrey, when are you going to play? You understand that you can play a Power 4 opponent in the regular season, right? You understand Indiana's now allowed to do that, and they don't have the excuse that they're not good.
Do it though, man. Like, why do they have to do it?
Why are you scared? Why are you scared?
It's not about being scared.
Why are you scared?
They're not doing it because they ain't got to. They don't have to do it.
I mean, you can do it for one more year, but you got to start doing it again in 2027, 2028.
That's all I heard from all the Big Ten fans was you're scared. That's all I heard from Big Ten fans. SEC doesn't want to go none because they're scared. They don't want to play anybody non-conference. They're scared. So why are you scared, Jeffrey? Come on, stop
I'm
being
not
scared.
scared. It don't affect me at all. All I'm saying is that Signetti's like, we don't have to do it because we're gonna.
Why
make
don't
the
you play
playoffs.
Notre Dame? Why don't you play
Well,
Notre
they
Dame?
actually are
That's
scheduled. to play
scheduled.
Notre
That
Dame.
is scheduled soon.
Yeah. Oh man, that'll be fun right there.
All I know is that until the committee makes it a prerequisite that you have to have a power conference game or two in the non-conference, a lot of these teams aren't going to do it because you don't have to, because your strength of schedule in conference in the Big Ten and the SEC is good enough that you're going to make the playoffs regardless. So it's not about being scared; it's because you don't have to.
Right, Jeffrey, you're the only reasonable Big Ten fan I found out. You're like the only one, because everyone's like, Texas went 9-3. They lost to Florida. They shouldn't have been in the playoff. I'm like, well, and instead of playing Ohio State, they played Alabama State and went 10-2. They would have been in. So the Florida game literally doesn't matter. Anybody who says that is just obfuscating.
They have to make it a prerequisite. I mean, if you don't make it a prerequisite, then a lot of teams just aren't going to do it. I mean,
Right.
Again, you don't have to do it. Like Signetti is being smart. I know people are calling him out on, hey, you need to play a tough non-conference game, but he doesn't have to do it. He's made the
I agree,
playoffs
it's
the
the
last
best
2 years,
tactical
not
strategy.
doing it. So as long as he doesn't have to do it, he's not going to do it.
Right.
And the Notre Dame game was scheduled when Tom Allen was the coach. So, I mean, again, it's just, I don't know. Like, I agree with you, Drill. I agree that they should play a tough non-conference game. But the problem is that 99% of your tough non-conference, because see, if you make it a Power 4 requisite, Indiana could schedule Boston College. Okay. Or they could schedule Oklahoma State. Well, but when Oklahoma State was bad.
Oklahoma State.
But you get my point. I'm saying teams, I don't care about I don't care about Oklahoma State right now. I'm sorry. Just whatever.
I mean, they're
My
garbage.
point
They
is
went
teams that are
1-11.
bad. Teams that are bad. If you schedule a Power 4 team that is bad, and that's your prerequisite for, wow, you played a tough non-conference game. It wasn't. So 99% of your tough non-conference games are going to be, well, Indiana's got to play somebody from the SEC. And the SEC team's got to play somebody from the Big Ten. And who does that favor? That is typically, to Darrell's point, it's going to favor the SEC because, again, it's that strength thing. The bottom of the Big Ten sucks. So, like, if Indiana plays Missouri, Indiana's better than Missouri right now, but Missouri will be a tougher game for Indiana than it would be for a team like Ole Miss to play Northwestern. Again, it's just a fact, right? So it's like, does it help the Big Ten to play a crossover series where every single team in the conference plays every single team from the other team, which doesn't even work anyway because you have 18 Big Ten teams and 16 SEC teams. So 2 teams wouldn't even have a team. Again, Steve, I know is losing in chat, but again, this got brought up. All I'm saying is it's not worth it. And again, if you make the prerequisite where it's only Power 4, then you're going to have a bunch of teams, especially from the Big Ten, scheduling a bunch of crappy teams from the ACC and the Big 12 in the non-conference. So that's really not going to make a whole lot of difference whether you're playing Toledo in the non-conference or you're playing freaking Boston College. I mean, I understand Boston College is better than Toledo theoretically, but there are some years where Boston College is really actually not better than Toledo. So,
right, but Jeffrey, what if instead of getting rid of it, like those in like your Missouri-Kansas games, which we're having, or your Virginia Techs of the world playing their out of what if we just got rid of all of those games and said, well, since the committee's only looking at overall wins, what if everybody just played in cupcakes? What if we had no crossover P4 games? And then the only thing we had to go on was assumptions of which conference was better. Do you think that'd be healthy for the sport? And also, what if we froze out Notre Dame completely just to mess with Will and, or kick him and tell him he got to join the conference? What if we just did that? Because what's the benefit? Like,
what is it going to do for Notre Dame to join a conference when all we're hearing is how the SEC is going to break away from the NCAA? So
we're going to break. I mean, when we break away from the NCAA, which I think will happen, we're not going to break away as in terms of we're going to have our own government body like the UFL. We're just going to have our own rule set. We're going to have our own referees. We're going to have our own schedule. Everything's going to be our hands. It's everything you all say you want. And then during bowl games in the non-conference regular season, we'll play the others. I think that's all they're describing. Is the
for college basketball, baseball?
What if they kick out Big Blue Nation from the tournament?
What'd you say, Will?
What if they kicked out Big Blue Nation for the tournament to do as punishment for that?
I'm pretty sure this is a football only thing that would happen. I don't think this would impact any of the other sports. Also,
I mean,
the
logistically,
NCAA,
that makes it kind of confusing, though.
right? But the NCAA, the only thing that they have of any value is March Madness. So if you kick down any of the SEC programs, you instantly devalue the only thing that matters to them. So that wouldn't make any logical sense. And college football is already in a unique spot because the college football playoff isn't governed by the NCAA anyway. So I really don't see what the significant change is. I mean, people are upset the NCAA isn't able to enforce their own rules. But now people are upset that a conference is wanting to break away and have it to where they can enforce their own rules. Like, what's... I'm confused why people are upset.
I mean, it's the unknown. I mean, it's kind of more so like, if they break away, what are the repercussions? Will the Big Ten break away? Are they going to still play each other? Are they still going to play for the same college football playoff? There's a lot of, uncertainty with it, and then the whole super conference thing is the Big Ten breaks away, then they can form their own thing. And then the rest of them are, again, it's getting very close to that line of demarcation, cross the Rubicon type of thing here. Or once you jump that line, I mean, we've already been pushing it so far, but once you completely jump across, it's over, right? I mean, what's over? Just everything as we know it in the world of college football will never be the same. And once you reach that point, you can never go back before. You can never recross.
I think we've already crossed that point.
Yeah, we have, but it's like it's the final nail in the proverbial coffin. I mean, like if they break away from the NCAA, then it's completely gone.
Yeah. So what is the NCAA doing of any value right now?
They're not. But
so wouldn't you want it to where
it's just like I feel like it's just institutionally. As a college football fan, for all of us that have been alive long enough to know what college football was like before NIL in the portal. Again, for young kids now, that's different. They're going to grow up with this stuff. It's not going to be anything different. But like I remember the 2010s and the late 2000s. It was different back then. It's like for all of us, it's like institutionally, even with all these changes, college football still is the same because it's still technically under the same body. It's still technically under the rules, even though the rules have changed, but it's still relatively the same. If you go out to the great wide open, unknown, it's done.
Okay.
Whatever happens, it's going to be whatever.
I understand that, but I've got some assumptions, and maybe they're wrong. Every conference wants to do what's in the best interest of them.
What's in the best interest for them might not be in the best interest for everybody else.
Right, but what is in the interest of them is to have a playoff structure in which a national champion is determined. So because of that fact, they have to work together in some tangible way.
But what if the Big Ten and the SEC doesn't want to work with the other conferences because they don't matter?
Oh,
they're not really pulling a lot of weight right now. What kind of weight are they pulling?
Oh, that'd be perfectly fine. I don't want the Big 12 or ACC if they don't deserve to be in the playoffs. I don't think we should have DEI playoff spots.
How are they ever going to be able to be good, though? That's the problem. I mean, that's
how are they ever going to be good now?
But the reason why they were good is because, again, when the conferences were more even, it gave all of the teams equity around each other that was around the same as everyone else. Now that the Big Ten and the SEC has gotten to the point with the additions they've made and the programs they already have gotten so valuable that they're currently so much more valuable than those other conferences. Yeah, that's why the Big 12 and the ACC are worthless. And they're not worthless. I mean, they're worth a whole lot more than everybody that we probably know. But my point is that, again, it's like 30 million is a big difference than 100 million, and that number is going to keep going up for the Big Ten and the SEC. It's just going to keep going up. The line is just going to keep getting larger and larger to the point where it's not even a competition anymore at that point.
Right, but to me,
that's why it is the way that it is.
Right, but to me, this problem is going to exist whether the SEC breaks away or not. Like, none of this explains what's the damaging thing that happens if the SEC breaks away. It would be damaging if they say we're going to work in our own silo and we're never going to play anybody else.
But they can do that. theoretically they
Yeah.
could do that and still be functioning and operational and profitable, because the SEC, I mean, you talk about, there's a lot of people like you that really only care about the SEC.
Yeah, we're the most, we own the sport.
And fandom to the SEC. I mean, there's people on this planet that if their team loses will only root for other teams in their conference, which to me is insane, because you would think that, like, well, hey, I hate all those other teams or dislike all those other teams because I like my team. They're all rivals. I don't like them. But when your team loses, like, well, I'll root for that team because they're in the same conference. So there's a lot of people that think this way. I don't know why they think this way, but they do.
Because it means more, Jeffrey. We value football more than anybody else.
It just means more, but I'm just telling you, though, that in reality, it doesn't make any sense.
No, I'm literally saying it's a cultural thing, and the people value it more. It's just certain cultures value certain things more. In the South, they value their football more than anywhere else. I mean, 93 of the top 100 games had at least one SEC team in there. I mean, when you own 93% of the market, you're going to dictate what you do.
Now, I think one thing that could
The
save
Big Ten
this,
definitely is not 7% of the market. I know what you mean, though, but
the thing that would save it is like the Protect College Sports Act. I'm pretty sure has it so that all the teams would get the same TV revenue,
which is not even logistically feasible. And in reality, I mean, you'd have to completely, like, basically steal money from other places to even make that work. Because think about it. How many people are watching Rutgers? None. Sorry.
Yeah, it'd be the NFL.
It doesn't work that way. Like, at least in the NFL, yeah, you've got the Cowboys that are America's team. Like the NBA, you've got the Celtics and the Lakers that are theoretically more popular than other teams. Like Cleveland Cavaliers are not as popular as the Celtics. But overall, most professional teams are very valuable. And they're kind of semi-even across the board, even though there are gaps. But in college sports, especially today, and even it really was in the 80s, but it really is now, your big programs like Bama and Michigan and Ohio State and Texas and all these, they're so much more valuable than Rutgers and Boston College and Oklahoma State. It's not even close. So it's like, again, having it even across the board, while it
would help the Wake Forests and the Boston colleges.
It would help them, but why? Because they are not profitable in the same way.
They don't care. Like, do you think Wake Forest fans, even if they do exist, care about their sport any relative way?
I live in the state of North Carolina, and 95% of the memorabilia and the license plates, and the decals and all that type of stuff that you see in people's yards is Duke, North Carolina, and NC State.
Right. Why is it?
It is 95%.
I think Greg Sankey made this point last year during media days. It's like, why is it our job to lift everyone else up? Like, sorry, we shouldn't be dragging these has-beens who don't want to even try.
It's almost like in like retail or like in the business world. If it's like you have like 4 companies, you know what I mean? And like in a perfect world, all the companies succeed and they're all doing great, but like one's struggling. But then it's like, oh, we have to help this struggling company, so it's like, oh, we're gonna help like make it where portion of the money that the other 3 are doing goes to them to keep them afloat. Well, in reality, what happens? That company either gets bought out or they fold. You know what I mean? That's kind of
you're basically describing a bailout, Jeffrey.
It's the same thing. I mean, I don't like any of this crap. I think it sucks. Again, I wish it go back to the 90s. I wish it go back to the 80s. I wish the conference would go back. It's not happening. I'll say it. I'll say it. And I'll say it. I wish they go back to the way it was before, but it's not happening. The dam's been open. It's wide open. Alabama and Texas and Michigan, all these programs are just so freaking valuable. And it's not even close to these other teams. And try to make it even across the board. If you wanted to try to make it even across the board, you probably should have done that 25 years ago. You probably should have even tried to do that 15 years ago. Because at this point, it's a lost cause.
Right. They could have gone somewhat away with it 5 years ago when Oklahoma and Texas was in the Big 12 and USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington.
Still would have been somewhat understandable. Like, hey, it kind of makes sense. It doesn't make sense anymore unless you were going to recreate the conference's way, but they're not going to do that because the value is in the Big Ten and the SEC. The money is being made in the Big Ten and the SEC.
Right.
The ACC and the Big 12 are Sears and Kmart. They're not completely dead yet, but they're like Sears and Kmart 10 years ago. They're dying. They're falling apart. They're not even on the same level. They're not even on the same stratosphere as Walmart, Amazon, whatever other thing you want to use. It's just not there. It is not ever going to be there. the way things are trending. And like to Will's point, yeah, you can try to patch the gap, but how's it supposed to be? How are you supposed to make it where, hey, Wake Forest, you get the exact same amount of money as Ohio State? How? I mean, Wake Forest doesn't even probably generate the amount of money that would be equal to Ohio State. So, again, like, I'm stuck in a crossroads talking about it because part of me wishes the equal stuff could work or something more equal could work because I don't want it all to defragment and the Big Ten and the SEC to break away and become a super thing. And I don't want that to happen, but everything's pointing to that because, again, that's where all the value is.
Right. Why would it be I don't even think like the majority of the Big Ten has value. Like there's
the Big
like
Ten has a lot more value than I think even SEC fans give credit though.
Right, but like half of their conference, like the bottom 7, 8 teams are just crap in terms of value. Like nobody it's shocking to me, but as the conference has gotten closer or has surpassed the SEC, the interest has waned. So clearly, yeah, I know it's strange and it doesn't make any sense, but people are saying, well, we don't care about Illinois, Minnesota, those teams, even Indiana, for how good of a team they are. People just didn't watch. And if people don't watch and they don't have value, sorry, Jeffrey, the numbers speak for themselves, man.
I mean, it's semi-true. I feel like Indiana is in a situation where they're still so fresh that it's like, again, if they can remain good, then the numbers will climb. I mean, you did see the interest was there when they were at Miami. You did see the interest was there when they played Oregon, right? Like they clearly have fans. They clearly have interest. And they clearly have a lot of value now that they're good. But yes, is it on the same level as the programs that we keep regurgitating every 5 minutes? No, it's not.
You don't even have as much. Like your Oregon Indiana game had less viewership than Ole Miss Mississippi State.
Yeah, I mean that is technically true.
No, it's not technically true. It is true.
But again, like Indiana, Oregon did generate more talking points. It did generate a lot more.
Which is the paradoxical point that I'm still trying to wrap my head around. I haven't fully fleshed out.
I feel like the difference is, Darrell, is that a lot of people watch Ole Miss, Mississippi State just because. You know what I mean? Like it's the cultural thing that we talk about in the South.
People wanted to know what was going on with Lane.
They and that had a lot to do with it too. But it's just it's like a lot of those people are going to watch no matter what. Whereas like in certain other areas, you're only going to watch if the team's good. Because, again, Indiana, prior to being good, had no viewers. None. Like, at all. I mean, they couldn't even crack 1 million views on national television if they ever got a game, hardly. I mean, it was that bad. Like, now they're cracking 5 million and 7 million. I mean, it's like a lot of these teams in the South, like South Carolina and Ole Miss, and these teams can get a lot of views just because of the fact that it's the same people that will watch their team no matter whether they're 3-9 or they're good or not. You know, I mean,
I put the top 20 in the private chat.
That's the difference.
Yeah, those are playoff games. I was talking regular season games, Will. Because playoff games are always going to be higher because they're special. They are solo spot. They have no competition. So, and they're fluid.
Hey Steve, what have I said that you disagree with tonight? Because I see your comments in chat. I am intrigued genuinely. Not that maybe it was just in the conversation because I know you're a Big Ten guy and Drill's an SEC guy, and I don't freaking care. Yeah, I'm just a guy that I like teams in both conferences.
Yeah, I want to see us play more often, and I think I want everybody to play more often, we have to value the metrics more.
Here we go. Well, Darrell, we're gonna go ahead and let you go. We're gonna bring in Nets Cars. Any final words for tonight?
No, I appreciate this chat. Always good talking to you, Jeffrey Jackson, and pleasure talking to you, Will. Looking forward to a great 2026 season. When obviously Kentucky's going all the way. We're gonna win it all. Why can't we win it all? Indiana win it all. Why can't we win it all?
Yeah, and I'm sure Kentucky would have more views doing it too. I'm sure, right?
Oh, hey, listen, we're gonna win in something this year. Okay, I don't know if we're gonna win it all in football. Our women's volleyball team is really good this year. We got a good basketball team, so there's a few sports we can win it all. Okay. I just want to believe. I just want to believe for 2 weeks. Let me believe for 2 weeks.
All right, man.
And we'll believe for you. You know, anything's possible.
We'll see you soon, man.
Appreciate it, Drew. Great conversation. I haven't talked to Drew in a long time. It was a ton of fun, and it's always interesting discussing stuff like that. So,
well, what last words you got for tonight?
Well,
man?
I think Nick Saban. He's one of the all-time greats. He's got to get better at talking about the playoff, man. He was just kind of rambling about it, but I feel like if he locks in, he can be really good at it. Because when he's talking like coaching and everything, that's great. But when he talks about the playoff,
there's a guy that does want to speak with you for a little bit. He is the host of Locked On West Virginia, and he and I are good buddies on the College Sports Insiders channel. I can tell you right now, he is a go-to Mountaineer. We're gonna bring him in. Looking noises. Mountaineer Paul, how you doing tonight, good buddy?
Will, what's up, brother? It's been a while.
What's up, brother? How's it going?
How you been?
I've been good. I just finished watching the World Cup. That was a ton of fun. Now I'm locking into college football.
Sweet, man. It's been a while since we've been on a show together, so I figured I'd say what's up.
What's up? What do you think of Rich Rod and the boys? Do you think they can get it going, be a Big 12 contender?
Big 12 contender is pretty strong. I think, look, I've said all offseason, I think we can win 8 or 9 games. I really do think that. I don't think that's quite contender status, but I think it's just in that next tier. Obviously, a lot has to go right for West Virginia for that to happen. The schedule really lines up for them well. They're not even on the road till 5 weeks into the season. So, that helps out a lot, and it's Iowa State at that. You talk about, obviously, the offensive line investment was elite. It's the best offensive line we've had in near a decade. At least we hear preseason. Rick Trickett's coaching those guys, and we all know how good he is coaching on so many national championship teams as an O-line coach. And, obviously Saban loves him, and Jimbo Fisher loved him, and he was our guy when we had the great run early, from 01 to 08. Really, he was our guy for that as well. Mm-hmm. And obviously, you bring in the nation's leading rusher in Cam Cook. You've got a quarterback in Mike Hawkins Jr. that in Oklahoma was extremely talented kid that runs 4.3 legitimately. And anytime you've got a guy like that, in Rich Rod's offense, it can be dangerous. And then you bring in, obviously, Zach Alley and what he does on the defensive side. West Virginia poached him from Oklahoma for a reason. Oklahoma did not want to lose him. West Virginia had to pay a lot of money to get him. And I think they've surrounded him with some good players, but he's obviously going to have to work his magic a little bit this year. Mm-hmm. I think we're a little short in some areas, but we have some areas that are strong on defense. It's just, unfortunately, on defensive line, a little bit short, I think. And a corner could be an issue if we have 1 or 2 guys that don't step up. But I think it's the best team we've had in a while. At any point since Neil Brown has been there, for sure. So, I mean, like we did a show earlier today. How long has it been since West Virginia felt good about basketball and football coming into a year? It's been at least 10 years. And this is the first time in 10 years, Will.
Yeah, and because like I know like Paul and I have talked about this quite a lot, but it's like I could see where the 2026 edition of West Virginia is exactly like 2025 Houston, where they win some games that nobody's really thinking about. I mean, they can win a good one against an Arizona or a TCU. How will they do against a Utah rivalry week? That's going to be the question. Still feels weird saying West Virginia, Utah rivalry week. I mean, that's going to bug me till the end of time. It will. But
still not as bad as Oregon, Penn State.
Yeah, but I mean, Pitt, West Virginia, Black Friday, that's how I feel it should be. Mm-hmm. Same with BYU, Utah.
Or at least Virginia Tech, West Virginia,
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. All the like most of the rivalry games, and by the way, they would be played in November, except for like, some of the rivalry games that are like May for September and October, like Texas, Oklahoma. That's an October game. Mm-hmm. Leave that alone. Do not put that in any other day. But Honestly, the Mountaineers, like, they are missing their rivals so much, man. Like, I hate that for them. Like, they've been screwed out of being able to play Virginia Tech a lot and Maryland. I mean, I still get mad about that 2020 season. I'm like, there's not been a
Virginia Tech, West Virginia should be played every year. Absolutely, as should West Virginia Pitt.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, we wish it was. Unfortunately, not only does the committee not incentivize it, it's just, West Virginia played in because at one point the non-conference was said to have been a big deal, and so everybody scheduled 2 Power 4 non-conference games. West Virginia did for like 5 straight years. We played Penn State or Virginia Tech or somebody, and then Pitt, right? So like we were playing 2 Power 4 non-conference games. And like one of our better teams, we had a 9-1 season. We opened up with Penn State. Had we not done that, we win 10 games that year. So it's really should have been 11 because Houston hit a Hail Mary on us that was just devastating down there against Holgerson in the last seconds.
Oh yeah, the 2023 season. That was on Thursday night on Fox Sports 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember.
Jackson's ability to remember this stuff blows me away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was like all the bad beats of the week from Scott Van Pelt. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%, Mountaineer Paul. I mean, the thing is that it's tough for these teams that your rivals are out of conference.
Yeah,
because that's where it truly lies. If your rivals are in conference, then you're gonna play them a lot. Like you just because you're in the same league, even if it maybe skips a year, if it's not protected like an Indiana Purdue or an Alabama Auburn, you're still gonna play each other. But when it comes to these out of conference rivalries, like with West Virginia, Virginia Tech, and West Virginia Pitt, and Notre Dame with everybody because it's a Notre Dame situation, and just in teams like that, it's just why. Because you're already playing your conference slate. You add those extra games, especially with everything going to non-conference games, you're now playing 11, and some teams are only playing 9, tough games, power conference games, and you're playing 11. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. No, it doesn't, especially when you're a team that is trying to win games to keep your coach, or a team that's trying to win games to make a bowl game, or a team that are trying to win games to even just make the playoffs at all, because the baseline is 10-2. Anything less than 10-2, you're not getting in the current format of 12 teams at 9-3. Alabama was the closest that year that they were one behind at 9-3. They still didn't get in. Texas didn't get in at 9-3 this past year. So it's like, if they're not going to put a 3-loss team in, then why are you going to schedule the 2 out of conference games? It makes zero sense. Again, for Jackson and for the love of rivalries, for someone like him looking at just the rivalry aspect of it, I'm with him 1,000%. These games should be played for tradition and for the fans and all that type of stuff. But in reality, with what, again, and I remember saying this even before I had my YouTube channel, when I was a kid, like 11 years old back in 2015, the playoff, people asked me what I thought about the playoffs. Said it's a mistake because everybody's going to be talking about all that matters is the playoffs. All that matters is the playoffs, and everything's going to get thrown away by the wayside. And it has, because it's all about the playoffs. It's all about the playoffs. It's all about the playoffs. And I've said that for the last 4 years that I've been on YouTube. It's all about the playoffs. It's all about the playoffs. And it's all in people's minds. It's all that people care about. It's all about what the teams care about. It's what the money cares about. And that's fine and dandy. But it makes West Virginia, Virginia Tech, it makes West Virginia Pitt just frankly just useless. It makes it free. It makes it frankly impossible to justify playing the game. It doesn't help West Virginia. It doesn't help Pittsburgh. It doesn't help Virginia Tech. None of the teams that play Notre Dame it helps. It doesn't help anybody. It helps nobody. And if it wasn't all about the playoffs, if it was back to the BCS, where everybody that didn't make the game with 2 teams in it, and you made a bowl game, then it didn't matter, because it's like, oh, well, you know what? We played that extra tough.
We're playing for the BCS now.
And we went for 8-4, and instead we went 7-5. Well, it's okay. But it's like that one game, we could have been 10-2, because all we're hearing from Texas, well, we didn't play Ohio State. We would have made the playoffs. And you know what? You're right. You are right. But we still enjoyed that game, even though it sucked, frankly. But we enjoyed that game as fans watching Texas Ohio State play. but it didn't help Texas. It didn't because they missed the
The
playoff.
committee needs to do some analytical thing to like account for like how well the teams are playing, but also and like the quality of teams they're playing in conference, but also keep that out of conference thing,
And see,
out of
Rock
conference
and Rand,
matchup, incentivize that as
Right.
well, and then like average that out, and then that should be how the teams
Oh yeah.
That would
Yeah.
take
in
logic.
playoffs. It needs to reward teams that schedule hard, not out of conference, but also reward the teams that
Yeah.
play.
Rock
Oh.
and Rant is saying in chat, he's saying that Texas wants us to believe they didn't get in because of losing Ohio State, when it's more because they lost to Florida, almost lost to Kentucky, and almost lost to Mississippi State.
He's right.
I understand that point. I agree with that point to an extent. But the reason Texas did not make the college football playoff is because they played Ohio State. That is a fact. If they had the exact same schedule, but instead of losing to Ohio State, they beat Toledo, they're in the playoffs. I'm sorry, but that's a fact. That is a 1,000% fact. Now, granted, if they had to beat Kentucky, yeah, if they had to beat Kentucky and lost to Ohio State, they would have got in 10-2. But the point is that if they didn't play the Ohio State game, they would have got in. And that I don't understand why that doesn't make sense for people, because it's just a fact. This isn't an opinion thing. It's not a 2 + 2 is 5. This is a fact. If Ohio State and Texas did not play, Texas would have made the college football playoff. That is a fact. 100% fact. Yes, if they hadn't lost to Florida, they'd have got in, still losing to Ohio State. But if they didn't play Ohio State, they would have made the college football playoffs. That's why none of these teams want to play these games anymore. You don't have this problem in college basketball. I've said it before. You don't have this problem in college basketball because you play 31 games in the regular season, and you've got most conferences, it's 11 non-conference games. Others is 13. So you can play 5 tough games, lose 3 of them, and you're good. Because as long as you win 11 or 12 games in conference, you're going to make the tournament. But in football, you have 12 games, and you have to go 10-2. That's the baseline now. It used to be you had to go 11-1, but now it's 10-2. You're in pretty much, unless you're Utah. No one talks about how Utah was 10-2. No one talks about these other teams. Vanderbilt was 10-2, and they didn't get in. No one cares about that. But if you're a brand and you go 10-2, you're in. So Texas would have been in at 10-2 if they didn't play Ohio State. But again, I don't know why that is such a controversial thing about, no. Yeah, they shouldn't have lost to Florida. But if they hadn't played Ohio State, they would have gotten in because they would have beaten anybody else that they would have had on the schedule there, pretty much. Unless they played someone like, I don't know.
NCAA also has 76 teams getting in, you know?
Yeah, again, that's the difference, though. But that's because all people care about is making the playoff. That's it. Just imagine if college basketball is at 76 with 12 teams. Then everybody would be playing nobody in the non-conference either.
It would be really interesting, actually, but it would be it would obviously wouldn't be fair. In basketball, there's much more parity on who can win the national championship year to year, or at least make a deep run.
There's a ton of metrics to real for college basketball to determine quality win or loss is because
Austin's
mic.
I don't know. Something's wrong with Austin's mic. It sounds like he's underwater.
Yeah, his mic always sounds like it's underwater sometimes, and then it clears up, and then it's confusing why it does that, because sometimes his mic sounds great. But again, Darrell said college basketball tons of metrics to determine quality win or loss. It's because you've got more games. The more data you have, the more metrics are going to accumulate.
There needs to be some metrics to reward out of conference, but also reward playing tough teams in your conference. There needs to be some sort of metric that we can use.
But again, it's still going to hurt teams like Utah. It's still going to hurt teams like Vanderbilt, because as is, they still didn't get in at 10-2 last year. But if you make it all about strength, then guess what? You're going to have teams loading up. Like you're going to have like Texas or whatever playing like the hardest schedule by far metrically, and then they're going to get in the playoffs at 8-4 because, they played the number 1 schedule and they only lost to these teams by 3 points. How do you quantify that? It's not enough games. If you play 20 to 25 games, you'd have more data, you'd have more metrics, it would be easier. You play 12 games. And you don't play even schedules. Everybody plays different schedules. It's almost impossible to quantify. We only can say, hey, this team's better than this team because either they played head-to-head, which isn't even always factual either, because if you played week 1, that doesn't mean that you're going to be actually as good as that team by the end of the year, Florida State, Alabama. But again, if you don't play head-to-head, then you're just going off, hey, well, this schedule was harder, this team's better, because Alabama's a better brand than Utah. Again, it's just football's different. That's why when it was just BCS and it was just bowl games, we didn't complain about this crap. We didn't fuss about this crap because you made a bowl game. You made the Rose Bowl. It was fine. But now it's all about making the playoffs. You have the squabbling every single day. On all podcasts, we do it here, and it's great. And it's great conversation. But we're not getting anywhere because, again, you're always going to have problems about who gets in, who not, who deserves it or who not, because of the fact you cannot 1,000% quantify as easily as college basketball who deserves to be in or not because you have less data. The less data that you have, you're not going to gain the metrics necessary to be able to say, hey, this team actually deserves to be in. Even though they're 8-4, they deserve to be in because of the schedule and how they performed and the way they looked, and they threw less picks than this other team that only lost one game in the ACC. They don't deserve to be in. They suck. How? How do you do that?
Yeah. I mean,
how do you do it?
Obviously, that's been a talking point in SEC media days. You know, it's tough whenever you're not. So whenever you're West Virginia, you're not in a power league where, you know, one of the more privileged leagues, however you want to put it, the SEC or the Big Ten. It's really frustrating, right? Because it's not like we can change our circumstances or our schedule. It is what it is. And so if we go 10-2, there's some trepidation there, right? Because there's no guarantee at 10-2 unless you just win the league that you're getting in. So I think, you know, what do you do, right, if you're a Big 12 team these days? Like, do you schedule harder out of conference now because the SEC is trying to place all this emphasis now on the schedule, as to where for years it was cream puffs and then kind of, you know, our in-conference schedule is tough enough to kind of get you across that finish line. I don't know. You know, I don't know. I think it's, you know, obviously the teams outside of those leagues resent it, and the SEC and the Big Ten teams inside their leagues resent that the system is what it is. So it's like, you know, there's an impasse. I don't know how it gets resolved, to be honest. I'm glad I'm not having to make the decisions. I know that.
I mean, I think you gotta try to get your donors, like Texas Tech is doing, and load up on the non-conference if the Big 12 wants to try to get extra teams in. I mean, that's what you got to do.
The problem is, though, is that if all those teams load up and then they lose all those games, it doesn't do anything. That's also the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're because in basketball, it's all about strength. That's why it's like they compare the average net of and all these other metrics, Ken Palm and all this other stuff to determine, well, hey, actually, the Mountain West this year, they're the sixth best league this year.
Yeah, that doesn't happen in college football, really, does it?
You can do that easier, right? But it's like, again,
there's more games.
It's all about the more games. I'm telling you, it is impossible to quantify with 12 games. But again, how can you improve your conference's value, right? Like the perception, like if the Big 12 schedules all these Big 10 and SEC non-conference games, and then just say they schedule 20 of them and they lose 18 of them. I'm not saying that would happen in reality. I'm not saying that. But if they lost 18 of them, how does that help you? It does nothing. It makes
Well,
it
I'm
worse.
saying that's why you load up the money. You load up the NIL and you get the players.
But see, you have to
but
do
we're
that,
already
though,
working
you
in
gotta
a
have-
disadvantaged place. You know,
Yeah.
It's tough when you're in a disadvantaged spot to begin with.
See, I'm going to die on this hill. Hopefully, I sound better now. Hopefully,
Yeah,
I
you
do.
sound better now. Like I
I'm
said,
gonna die
sometimes you sound great. Your microphone or whatever sounds great, but I don't know. It's interesting.
See, I'm on my phone tonight. I'm typically on my computer, but I get on my phone for this. So if I echo or something, just tell me. But I will die on this hill, guys. And Mountaineer Paul, if you know me and you'll get to know me by listening to me, I'm gonna die on this hill that Duke should have been in the playoffs because they won their conference. If we're talking about, loading up and all this, why is Duke being punished when they won their conference, right? If it's all about the playoffs and the criteria says,
well, this year they would be in because conference winners get in again, right?
But see, the thing is that's why, though, when they started doing the playoffs, which again, it's all about the playoffs, nothing else matters, even though they said that it wasn't going to be the case, but it is. Again, it's about the best teams. It was supposed to be the 4 best. Does anybody remember when it's the 4 best teams? It's the 12 best teams. Is Duke one of the 12 best teams? No. I'm sorry, but they're not even top 25.
I mean,
right?
If you go
so
by, Jeffrey, if you go by them winning the conference, yes.
I warned
up, but
of something like this, like a few years back when we went to 12 teams, if there was going to be a possibility of like something similar to what we
You
saw.
knew
from
it was going to
Wisconsin.
happen from the ACC or the Big 12 if it was going to happen, because it's not going to happen in the
I'm very
SEC or the Big 10.
Yeah, because I said something. I was like, what if we have a scenario like we did from the Big 10 from 2012, where like there was a 5-loss Wisconsin team winning the Big 10?
Well, it used to happen in the Big 10, but it don't anymore.
Exactly.
Well, that was because Ohio State and Penn State were under sanctions.
Yep.
And Nebraska choked. Man.
Man.
Couldn't stop the run.
And you see, and that's the thing too. That I'm glad you brought this up, Jackson. And that's why I think a lot of, not all Notre Dame fans, but I think a lot of people like ESPN and stuff felt the pressure to put Miami in because they're like, oh no, we can't leave the ACC out. That's too bad of a look. We done left the champion out. That's a really bad look. If we go on and leave Miami out, we're really gonna make the ACC look bad, and we don't want to tick them off.
We can't leave Miami out.
They ended up making the right decision, I guess, at the end of the day, putting Miami in, I guess, which I still don't like saying that because Notre Dame should have been in, but whatever. Okay, they made the right decision, I guess. Because, I mean, Miami
ended up being the hottest team.
All the teams that didn't make it, though, Texas was better than probably 4 or 5 probably 6 of the teams that were in the playoffs. They probably were, but they didn't win. And that's the problem. Because, again, we're talking about all these metrics and stuff that we're trying to institute or whatever, which, again, you don't have enough data really to do that, but whatever. Then you're gonna have arguments for teams like a Texas going 9-3 or Alabama 9-3 or even an 8-4 that, hey, they need to be in because X, Y, and Z. And it's like, that's just going to make it even more impossible for these other teams to get in.
See, real fast, Jeffrey, I don't think the problem was up until that point. I think everyone said Bama was in the field.
I still don't even care about that. They should have been in the playoffs.
See, but just let me bring it up real fast, Jeffrey. But it's the way y'all lost to Georgia. And I remember talking about this. If y'all get beat by Georgia, is there a chance that we kick you out?
I argued for that. I actually argued for that. Like,
I just believe that like BYU dropped in the top 25 and like Alabama didn't. That was the frustrating part.
Because again, Alabama, it's like, well, they lost to Georgia and it's Alabama, and BYU lost to whatever and it's BYU. So it's like, again, I mean, it all goes back to that. It does. I mean, Alabama got in because they beat Georgia in the regular season, and they play in the SEC, and they're Alabama. And it's perceived that Alabama is better than BYU. I mean, a lot of it's perception. It really is. I mean, that's why Indiana. We went from Indiana the year before. Oh, well, they shouldn't have made the playoffs. They suck. Well, why do they even get in? Notre Dame destroyed them. They're trash. They should never make the playoffs again. That's what we heard. They should never make the playoffs again. Well-respected people in the media said that they should never make the playoffs again. Where are they now? Where are they now? Because they just won the whole daggum thing. So guess what? Now Indiana's overrated this year and they might drop a little bit. Who cares? They probably are going to drop a little bit. They won the whole thing last year. Unless they win the whole thing again, then they're going to drop a little bit. Wow, that's a deep take there. Again, that's kind of the point here. It's like it's all perception, man. Alabama is better than BYU in perception. In reality, they're still better, but it's perception. That's why Alabama can lose in the SEC title game and get in, whereas BYU doesn't.
That's why it was like, I made this point over the last few weeks of the 2025 season, no matter how it went, where it was like all Alabama has to do is be 10-2 in the SEC title game. You're good to go. Because it's like we see that a lot with anybody that's in the SEC and the Big 10. If you're in your conference title game, you're in. Big 12 and the ACC are going to get the crappy end of the stick, unfortunately. Like that is not good, but it's like Alabama, we knew that was coming. Like, because I was don't push your luck against Georgia. Don't push your luck.
Says Alabama had a better resume than Notre Dame, BYU, and Utah. That's going to be the case every single year, regardless. Like, there's practically no way, especially for BYU and Utah, to ever have a better resume than Alabama. I mean, Notre Dame theoretically could if they somehow created an insane schedule. But BYU and Utah are never going to have a better resume than Alabama as current things stand. That's never going to occur, ever.
I think it would have been cool to have like an Oregon-Miami playoff game or like a Notre Dame-Oklahoma game on.
Yeah, it is BYU and Utah's problem, Darrell, but it's not fixable. It's not a fixable problem.
I think it is. It would take
is to play tough non-conference games that you can't get.
From a Big 12 perspective, there's only one way it gets fixed, and that's the Big 12 actually has to win games in the playoffs and with more than one team. That's the only way. That's the only way. That's how Indiana changed their perspective. That's how Miami has changed their perspective. And that's how Texas Tech, to an extent, has changed theirs, even though they haven't won the national championship yet. But I do think they are capable with what they have in-house funding-wise. BYU as well. BYU may be the best team in the Big 12.
That's what I'm thinking about.
They're
too,
really good. They're better than they were last year. They've got the biggest, strongest offensive line probably in the league. The best. Like I went up there and visited with Kalani Sitake and the family last year. I really got to know them, and it was really cool. I was glad they invited me up and all that. But so I do have a soft spot there. But I mean, at the end of the day, they thought they were going to be really good last year. I was up there right before Retzloff when all that happened, but they didn't know who was going to be their quarterback, and all that. So, unfortunately, Bear ended up winning the job over the kid that I met. But at the end of the day, he ended up being really good and diced West Virginia up for over 300 yards in the game. I don't know if he has the ceiling as a quarterback that some of the other quarterbacks in the league have. Juju Lewis at Colorado, probably not a person a lot of people know about. Former 5-star guy and has a ton of ability.
He was a big deal when he committed and when Colorado was relevant, but now Colorado's not relevant.
No, right. I'm saying, but if you put him at BYU or something,
he was a big deal. His recruitment was huge. I mean, he was down to Indiana.
Cut that prime slander out.
It was. Colorado, dude, had 12 million viewers for a Colorado State game 2 years ago. They were a big deal. And
that's
they got
the Deion Sanders effect.
And they got a lot of transfers. That was huge, right? But now they're irrelevant again. So it's like if Julian Lewis gets Colorado better again with Deion, then he'll rise again. It's like how Lagway's fallen off a cliff. Once you lose relevancy, it's very easy to lose relevancy today. It is so easy to lose relevancy in 2026. All it takes is one bad year. All it takes is your program to have one. Like Clemson's, where's Clemson? Where's Clemson?
They're like Florida State from 2000
2009. You had your
they're Iowa
Colorado, but they're gone. I mean, if they go 11-1 this year at Colorado and Julian Lewis has a Heisman-like campaign, they're back. But right now, they're not. Right. My point is, I don't disagree with Mountaineer Paul. He's absolutely correct. I didn't mean to intervene. He's correct that Juju Lewis is not thought of heavily currently, but he was a big deal a year or two ago. He was a massive deal a year or two ago. And when he committed to Colorado, it was a massive deal. And when he came into his first game, it was a massive deal. But then when he played bad and Colorado played bad, he's no longer a big deal. That's what occurred.
Because Notre Dame considers
Colorado
Bear.
was up there.
So I think Bear can do. I think Bear can do well
in the national media. They were a top 20 program in the national media. How much they were getting coverage? He was on 60 Minutes. They were getting 10 to 12 million viewers for garbage games that no one actually really cared about, but they were watching because of Deion 2 years ago, and even
and Shadur,
and it all went away.
Yeah,
Shadur became a phenomenon with Travis Hunter too. I think
it's mostly
that
Deion.
Whole dynamic.
It really was mostly Deion. It just now that they're losing now, it's gone away.
Yeah.
And something tells me Colorado is going to surprise people this season. I don't know why, but it's just they do this crap a lot. They've been doing this since Deion Sanders has come over to Boulder.
Well,
that's why I love you, Jackson. That's why I love you, Jackson. You know where it's at. It's prime time. Something time to grind. Okay, I'm sorry.
Hey, I hope Colorado is better. Again, the hype train on Deion Sanders was way blown out of proportion. I mean,
it was good for the Big 12. I mean,
it got way too blown out of proportion to the point where a lot of people were getting massively sick of it. And now that like Deion Sanders, it's been well covered, some health stuff and like I've completely 360. Like I've been praying for Deion Sanders. I hope Deion Sanders has a great season, and I hope he'll be okay and all that long term and all that type of stuff. I just got sick of the hype because it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was absolutely ridiculous. I could not believe that 12 million people tuned
Imagine
into
being
a
in the league with them.
Colorado State game that they actually should have lost because they couldn't stop the same route that they ran over and over and over. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, Deion Sanders is now a top 10 coach in college football.
I mean,
it's like, what are we even doing right now? Like, are we
Jeffrey, you
actually
made a
serious
video
right
on
now? Yeah, I
me
did
and
make
you.
a video
You made a
on
video
it
of me and
because
you
it's
arguing.
ridiculous.
Anyway, so I remember Jeffrey said one time, this time last year, where he talked about South Carolina, where when everybody talks about South Carolina, they don't do so well. But when nobody talks about South Carolina, they do well when the pressure isn't on them. I can safely say that's the same thing for the Colorado Buffaloes. Because like when you saw like 60 minutes of bid noon kickoff at College Game Day, all just getting in line to interview Deion Sanders, and oh my God, College Game Days at Colorado State. Oh my God, that amazing overtime game. Colorado wasn't doing so hot afterwards. I mean, they lost to Stanford. You saw Cedric the Entertainer over at Colorado Stanford. I bet you if you asked Cedric the Entertainer about Colorado from 2007, he couldn't possibly tell you about 2007 Colorado and what bowl game they played in. He couldn't possibly tell you what happened on November 23rd of 2007.
It was all hype, Jackson.
I know.
It was all hype. And again, I don't dislike hype at all.
I know.
Hype is fine.
It
It's
gets
when it
too
gets
much
blown out of
sometimes, though.
proportion.
I
The
agree.
Deion thing for about, I mean, I know Austin was playing it up, and it was funny, but it was bad. I mean, it was so bad. Like the fact that, and what makes it worse for me, just thinking about it, is the fact that now nobody cares.
No.
That is what's sick. Because all the people that were on the hype train, all the people that blew it out of proportion, where are they now?
They're not anywhere.
Where are they? They've moved to something else. It's the support.
Now
the
they're
current
that
team.
now Jeffrey. Now those people are talking about, oh, where's LeBron gonna go? Where's LeBron gonna go? That's what they're talking about now.
But
Exactly.
it's
The
just
thing
like
like-
if you're on the Deion hype train, then shouldn't you ride with it all the way to the end?
Well, yeah, it honestly
Instead
like
of just jumping off the ship once they stop winning, is that they're not relevant anymore? That's
Well,
my
let
point.
me
It's
think of it
like,
like this.
that's why you shouldn't jump on a hype train that hard. It's like you can support it. That's great. Support it, but when you're telling the world, hey, Deion's the best coach in college football. Hey, Deion, Colorado's going to do this, that, and they're better. They're all this crap. And then when they stop winning, then you just stop. You don't even care. You're not even posting online. I pray for Deion. I was against Deion Sanders' hype train when it got out of proportion, and I've talked more about Deion Sanders in the last year than these people were. Okay, like I'm like, hey, I have prayers for Deion. I hope he's okay. I hope he can turn it around. I've been more supportive. We've been more supportive of Deion that weren't on the hype train than the ones that were. Where are they? They're gone. And
Well,
that's the problem with hype.
I'm
That's the
not
problem
gone. I'm
with
still
people
here,
just hype
Jeffrey.
stuff. No, I'm not talking about you. You get what I mean, though. They
It brings in a
disappear.
lot of casual fans. Like it's similar to what Caitlin Clark does for the WNBA, right? A lot of people inside the WNBA will say that, like, you know, she brings in a certain audience or whatever. Like that's the problem. I think that's how a lot of people felt about Deion with college football. It's like, yes, it's great we have all these extra viewers, but like they don't know anything. So it's like, you know, people will get frustrated with it. I don't know if that's a good analogy or not, but that's kind of
I
how
actually think it's a great
actually
analogy.
perfect.
That's a good analogy.
So if you look at Colorado from a just pure fans, like even Colorado fans, I've covered this well. Obviously, I follow the Big 12 closely. I know the numbers. Colorado's first spring game was insane. They had almost 50,000 people there. It was sold out, right, for a spring game. That doesn't happen at very many places around the country. Their second spring game dropped like 10 or 12,000 people to 28,000. Their third spring is at 20,000, and this year's was at 17,000. So yes, it is the interest is waning.
Mm-hmm.
I do think though, because it, like you said, like it is Deion, like if they won, then I think that 70 or 80% of those people would come back. You're never going to get everybody back, but I do think I've said this before. As much as I would begrudge it, for the Big 12, it would be good for the Big 12 for them to be good. It would be, right? Just like it would be for the Big 12 for BYU to be good because they have such an enormous base because of their religion. So, it's just the way it is. It's why I mean, what's my best video ever, Jackson, that I've ever done?
The BYU trip. Mountaineer Paul goes to Provo.
70,000 views. It's like I can't get 10,000 views on a West Virginia video, so it's like I don't know. I mean, there's a big fan base there in Colorado, or not Colorado, but BYU. But that was the analogy, I guess. Caitlin Clark, kind of a Dion thing. That's all I got.
Well,
I mean, the New York Knicks.
Yeah, New York. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
New York Knicks.
The Knicks are like Colorado. You could compare them because, like, some of those Knicks fans are legit fans, but most of them are bandwagon fans. They weren't there for like the 10-win seasons and all that good stuff. Like when the Knicks start losing again, we'll see.
Gotta give him props.
Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, it's like I was told.
Sorry, I cut you off, Austin.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Austin.
I was just gonna say when the Knicks start, when they take a step down, we'll see how many are still there. Same with Indiana. How many of them are bandwagons? Then let's say Indiana goes 9-3. We'll see how many there is after that. But go ahead.
The Indiana one is interesting because Indiana has the biggest or second biggest, depending on who you read, but top 5. We'll just say that top 5 alumni base in the country. So a lot of fans are technically authentic. They're just people that didn't watch them when they weren't good. So they're watching them now. Now, when they become bad again, they'll probably not hold on, but a lot of them are actually Indiana fans. I just want to preface that. We're not talking about Alabama that has fans all over the country that have never attended and stuff. Like Indiana, most of their fans, I mean, they had when they were at UCLA, Indiana has a lot of alumni in LA. Yeah. They have a lot of alumni in DC. They have a lot of alumni in Chicago. There are Indiana alumni everywhere. They are a massive university. They're like North Carolina. They're like Michigan. They have graduates and college attendees everywhere. They just
basketball schools do have that.
About football because they were never good. See, Nebraska, different situation because Nebraska, that's all they have in Nebraska. And they love Nebraska because they were good. Indiana was never good. Nebraska was
They need
good.
Larry the Cable Guy to do some fundraising.
I know, right?
Now Nebraska,
get some of those
even though they're not good,
Disney
their fans
Plus.
haven't left. Their fans will not leave.
Yeah, doesn't like Larry the Cable Guy still get paid anytime somebody's watching Cars or Cars 2 and 3 on Disney Plus? I would think he does.
That's how a lot of people like music. I mean, people that have
Indiana with 805,000 living alumni.
Yeah.
Good God.
They're huge. Again, people don't know this because Indiana wasn't
200,000 more than Ohio State.
It's
UCLA
big.
or
Indiana's massive. Again, I'll explain this to people.
Crazy.
And they think that it's crazy. It's full of crap. It's not full of crap. Indiana has people everywhere. And they're showing up now because they're winning. When they went to Oregon, there were fans because they're in Portland and Eugene. When they went to LA, they were there. When they went to Miami, they were there. Because they're everywhere. There are Indiana fans all over the country. Like, I'm in North Carolina, and there are Indiana fans. I'm seeing the memorabilia now, and I've asked some of them, and they're actually alumni. So, yeah, again, this is people think they know college football. I don't know as much as some people. There are people out there that know way more than me. I don't know half of what some people know. Some people just know every little bit about everything in college sport, and they're amazing. They're encyclopedias. Jackson is incredible, but these are the details that a lot of people, even in the media, miss. They don't know this, and then they're writing on Twitter like Indiana, they're all bandwagon fans. Yeah, they technically are because they've jumped on the bandwagon, but at least they're actually alumni. Come on, at least. I mean, there are some that aren't. But most of them are actually, they went to the school. They just never cared about football before because they went 2-10 every year.
All right. You sleep well, Michigan, or you sleep well, Roll Tide 975. Y'all stay safe. Stay away from that heat. I will tell y'all, though, for those who don't know about Jeffrey, he is a Bama, North Carolina, Indiana fan. And I should know this because when Will introduced me to him on November 4th of 2022, the day before Alabama lost to LSU, November 5th of 2022, with Chris Fowler on the call on ESPN, Jeffrey told me about him being a fan of Alabama because a lot of his family is from Alabama. His second team is North Carolina because, he was born and raised in North Carolina. And Indiana's his feel bad team because he felt bad for him. And this was when Indiana was having Tom Allen as their head coach. And they were like still fighting for bowl eligibility at that time. It was a couple weeks before
Having Brandon Sorsby making some bets.
Yep. And a couple weeks before they got knocked out of bowl eligibility by losing.
Tom Allen would have known he would have not left them on the team. Because Tom Allen did kick multiple players off the team for doing stuff that was against team rules. So he would have kicked them off the team if he had known. I believe
Tom Allen well respected though.
But
random question I have real fast.
I think Mountain Paul saying Tom Allen had baggage. Whether yay or nay, all I'm just saying. I said
he was well respected. Tom.
He's well respected. I thought you said he had baggage. Sorry, I couldn't hear it because there was voices. My bad. But he is a guy that I believe like there's legit authenticity there. He would not have allowed Sorsby on the team if he had known that. I 100,000% believe that. It's my opinion.
So I'm glad Mountaineer Paul and Will is here because I want to get their opinions on this. Do y'all believe this is a question for everybody, of course. Are you considered a bandwagon if you have more than one team? For example, like Jeffrey, like me, I root for Colorado because I have family from the area, and plus I like Deion Sanders. But like me and Jeffrey, are we considered bandwagons because we have more than one team? Would that be considered a bandwagon? Just
there's other teams I like, but like Notre Dame is my main team.
Well, I mean, technically, if you want to use that logic, I mean, my number one team is Alabama. So, I mean, I've been watching them since I was 3, when I didn't know what football even was. So, I got the most connections there for Alabama. I mean, North Carolina is just I live in the state and I like them. I mean, it's usually a lot of people do root for the team that they, that they live in the state. I mean, I've, born and raised, watched Hansborough's bloody lip, all that kind of garbage. I mean, it's just kind of, I like North Carolina. Indiana, that was the outlier thing. That was a thing that was more of a joke, to be honest. It was just like, hey, they suck. Their basketball team was good and they suck. And I felt bad that they got screwed over in 2008 with the Simpson stuff. I still, I mean, just me not even being a true Indiana fan or whatever, alumni or from the state or any connections or whatever, because I got zero. I got no connection to Indiana whatsoever, no family, none of that crap. Point is I felt bad for that program. I felt like they got screwed. They got screwed with Bob Knight. They got screwed with Kelvin Sampson. And everybody clowned for it. With that the alumni, Indiana should still be the biggest blue blood ever, like all the other ones. And they're not because they got screwed.
No, now they are again.
And their football team was trash. And I like Tom Allen because I thought, again, I thought he was just he's a nice guy. And he's the epitome of when people say nice guys finish last type of thing. There you go.
Brown.
All right. Yeah, like everybody loved Tom Allen. He's a nice guy. He just wasn't successful because he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy, and nice guys don't win in this sport. That's why most of the great coaches in college football no one likes. There's a reason for that. All right? Tom Allen was a likable dude. He did things right, and you don't win. It's just, especially in a program like Indiana, before the NIL stuff. Like Signetti, he's not likable for a lot of people, but he's successful. And I like him pretty well. I think a lot of stuff he says is great, even though some people can't stand him, but he wins and he's successful. He's darn good at it. But Tom Allen, he was just a nice guy. I mean, he's a guy that, you probably have a great time at dinner, having a meal, at a restaurant, talking ball, talking family, whatever. I mean, he I don't know the guy. I've never talked to him in my life, but he just seems like that type of guy. He radiates that type of energy from the television when he's getting excited about beating a 2-10 Akron team. When he's getting excited over Indiana getting the spittoon from Michigan State when they had a third-string quarterback that actually ended up tearing his ACL and he sucked and he couldn't help it, but he was no good. And he threw for 20 yards and they beat him somehow in the rain and the snow because of the fact that they ran the ball very well in that one game, but they went 4-8 that year. They sucked, but he's running all over the field like, oh, we won. It's just, and he loved his guys. And like I said, he kicked several dudes out of the program when they weren't winning. But my whole main point though, is I got a lot of reasons why I like Indiana that had nothing to do with why I like Alabama, North Carolina. All these first, second, and third teams and stuff. It's just we talk about teams that we're interested in. Those are the teams I'm interested in. Teams I like to talk about. I get more joy talking about Alabama and Indiana and Carolina than I do talking about, Rutgers. Even though I like talking about Rutgers. I like talking about West Virginia. I love football. But I like talking about those teams more. But my number one team is Alabama.
So my understanding of the definition of a bandwagoner, Austin, is somebody that changes their team based off success. So that means that if Austin was truly an Alabama fan, or Jeffrey was truly an Alabama fan, and Alabama lost last year, so now Indiana's his favorite team this year, and Alabama's second, because they're losing. That's the definition of a bandwagon fan.
Mm-hmm.
West Virginia is my favorite team, whether they win, whether they lose, whether they're in the wrong. I don't care. I still got their back if they're wrong. It's like that friend. He goes to the bar and says something dumb. Well, we got to fight now, right? It's that kind of thing. That's how I view West Virginia. It's a love that comes from deep within.
That's a great point.
And Trojan Fight asked in the chat if I'd like Colorado since before Deion. Yes, I can remember a lot of their games way back in the day, like 09, 10. But my number one team, like Jeffrey, is Louisville. I live in the state of Kentucky. I always have. I can take you back to the Teddy Bridgewater days, the Charlie Strong days. I can take you back to when we played you all Mountaineer, Paul, in the old Big East, and when we came back and beat Temple. Louisville's my number one, like Jeffrey. But I love Colorado. Got dear grandparents that are from Colorado. Love them to death. And they always made me watch Colorado games. So I just grew to like them. And then when Deion came along, he's one of my favorite players of all time.
I'm guessing you had to unfortunately relive that 2010 Colorado-Kansas game on November 6th.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where Kansas made that, I believe it was like a 42 unanswered point comeback against Colorado.
Thanks, Jackson. That didn't hurt as much as what happened.
Do that to you, Austin. Jackson brings up the good memories and the bad.
Well, here's a good one.
No.
Colorado.
From his computer brain.
Yep. Colorado beating Georgia's eyes out a little bit, but telling Georgia they're close but no cigar on October 2nd of 2010.
See, those are good and bad, yes, but those don't bother me as much. Now, if Jackson brings up the one against Clemson, now I might have some words for him. The Lamar falling short. That broke my heart that night. And
that was a big game.
Mountaineer, Paul, remind me to tell you the story about when we talked about Cal Stanford, how we came to that conclusion for Week 12 of 2022.
Jackson,
that is so awesome, man.
Yeah, because it was like
the play. It's gotta be the play, dude. The play.
Yeah, because we were trying to figure out what games we were trying to.
Dude, we were trying to argue for some. What was it, James Madison or something?
No, it was Liberty, Virginia.
Liberty, Virginia Tech.
Dude, Cal and Stanford. I'm sorry. All this crap with the playoffs and the games that matter. Cal and Stanford is better.
I filibustered for that one because it was the 40th anniversary of the play. So it was there we go.
See,
that meant more. I'm sorry to reel, but that meant more at that moment in time. All right, that meant more.
See, here's a little thing of how it went, Paul. We had one game left to pick real fast, and we were trying to decide. Will had already gone to bed. He was smart. It was just me, Jeffrey, and Jackson, and I kept saying Liberty, Virginia Tech because of Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze. That was my argument. Jackson's the play, and I remember telling him, I don't care about the play. People don't care about that thing. And Jeffrey's
the exact same way 4 years ago, too. It's the exact same. I don't care about the play. Dude, the band was on the field, 40-year anniversary. That's got to mean something, man. I don't give a hoot and holler about Cal and Stanford, but I lobbied for that game so hard. Man.
Jackson still getting a kick out of it.
We're gonna
eventually
be
came to
our 60s or 70s, and we're still gonna be getting a kick out of it.
It's Kevin Moen. Come on.
That's what I love about it, the passion. Like, when we're talking, like sometimes, I get a little animated, but like I enjoy talking about this stuff. Even when it gets nauseating, talking about the same stupid rules and all the changes and all this realignment, we're passionate. I'm passionate. I love talking about this stuff. It's fun, man.
I mean, it's a beautiful sport. I mean, when Louisville made the ACC title game a couple years ago after we beat Miami, I fell on the floor and cried because I was just so happy after so long. Like, brings back the emotion, but it was just like after so long of being in that conference and finally breaking through, it just was like a happy moment. Even though we didn't win, I was happy that we finally got there. And that's the beauty of this sport. And Jackson even told me, he's like, Austin, Jeff Brom is going to do you wonders. And he's right.
Yep.
Man, Austin, I remember that Lamar game against Florida State. That was that was like the best. That had to be your best game.
Now,
right?
that was a team that beat the eyes out of Florida State right there. Oof. Like that was the
I remember that because game day came there.
Mhm.
Yep. And it was at 11 a.m. Central Time on ABC.
Mhm.
And I think
I'll never forget this, too.
Well, and I remember like Oklahoma State after that won a tight one against Pittsburgh on ESPN. That was the
Real fast.
That was the second year that
Jackson remembers the day he was born and what date, what second, who was on the
that
call.
was on I was born on a Tuesday, I think.
So, real fast, quick story. Mountaineer Paul, you're going to like this one because it involves your team. So, it was me, Jeffrey, and Jackson again, I think it was. And college game day was supposed to go to Pitt, West Virginia. And I believe Pitt or West Virginia, one of them lost. And I was arguing against it. I'm like,
it was West
they
Virginia.
lost. They don't deserve to be on this. And Jackson was literally like, we have to put Pitt, West Virginia. We have to. That's a rivalry. I was like, no, we don't, Jackson. They blew it. They could have been on college game day. They don't deserve to be in our top 10 picks. And Jackson kept fussing at me. He was like, Austin, this is a rivalry. How dare you? We were going back and forth, and Jeffrey was like,
these are getting so heated, man. I mean, I would be sitting there like trying to lobby for like Indiana against anybody at that point. I'm just like, you just put them on there. Like, come on. It's like, no, they suck. We don't have to argue now. Hey.
I'm always gonna push for the backyard brawl, man.
Like I said, I respect the rivalry thing because I am with you in heart and spirit, man. I'm with you 1,000% that these games should be played. It's just it sucks that we're in the circumstances we're in right now. They all need to be played. They need to find a way to have all these games be played and it somehow help these teams away.
It has been
I want to see Penn State and Pittsburgh have a good enough year in 2026 so that they can play each other in the Pinstripe Bowl in Yankee Stadium. And while we're at it, I want to see Virginia Tech have a good enough year to go to the Pop-Tarts Bowl. I want to see West Virginia go 9-3 so that they can go to the Pop-Tarts Bowl. That is
this year.
That I'm crossing my fingers for that to happen. I want that to happen so bad. Wait, say, Paul.
So say it again. What would I want to happen so bad?
We're saying that we think Virginia Tech and West Virginia can play in the Pop-Tart Bowl.
That would be cool. I mean, I'll be okay with it. Because we've had the Black Diamond Trophy for like almost 3,000 days or something crazy. So, it'd be nice to actually play for it again, right?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Like see a West Virginia Tech playing each other on Thursday night, 2022.
Yeah, that ended up being like a top 5 most watched Thursday night game of all time for them at the time.
That was awesome.
Yeah, West Virginia and Virginia Tech both have a really, really passionate fan bases. So whenever they play each other, it usually does pretty well. 2 or 3 million people at least.
Mountaineer Paul, I hope I know in basketball we played you all. I believe it was last year, a couple years ago. We played you first year under Pat Kelsey.
Yeah,
I'm hoping in football we can bring this back again. Yeah, buddy,
I think it'd be a great thing to do. Like rival, Louisville's a rival. I mean, in my opinion. I mean, look, man, Pat White's coming out party. Come on, man.
Oh,
Pat White was awesome, man. Like he's fun to watch his highlights.
Yeah, I mean.
I would love to play it. I mean, here's the thing: home and away, and then we can even play at a neutral site if that makes everybody feel better. We'll go play. What's midway between West Virginia and Louisville? Is it Tennessee?
No,
what's
probably
midway?
not. I mean, it depends on where at in Kentucky you're talking about, but like
Don't they
I live on
border
the
each
Kentucky
other?
border. I live on the Kentucky border by Ashland, and we're 4 hours from West Virginia, and I'm 2 hours from
Okay.
or two and a
I
half
don't
hours
even
from
know where would
Lexington
we
or
go
Louisville, or
like
two,
that.
about an hour and a half or 2 hours from Louisville. So I think Charleston,
Okay.
West Virginia would be halfway, to be honest with you.
Okay, well, we'll just play home game, home and home.
Oh,
Screw the
okay.
neutral site.
Okay.
There we go.
It's like
I
with
mean,
the
I don't
Indiana
know where
Louisville
at in
thing.
Kentucky would be.
Like real fast, Jeffrey. You remember when Louisville and Indiana were supposed to play 3 times, right? And we were going to play once in your all's home. We're going to come to us, and then we played at Lucas Oil. What was up with that? I still don't get why. Jackson, why did we do that?
That was during the last bit of the Tom Allen era, and a little bit before it got canceled. I remember that was when Oregon, Washington were saying we're going to be teams 17 and 18 for the Big Ten, a year after USC UCLA joined the Big Ten.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
Why don't I remember that? Jeffrey, I want that
I
game
figured
back too
everybody
because
remember that, honestly.
I want to see Jeff Brom and Kurt Signetti have a stare off across the field, mean mugging.
Hey man, Signetti has the most iconic looks for sure. I do want to ask you, Jackson. When we talk about SEC media days, ACC media days, man, or whatever media you want to talk about. Pat Narduzzi, so we're talking about Pitt a lot. What about Pat Narduzzi saying that the ACC is better than the Big Ten? This is the type of stuff that just cracks me up because again, I would love for that to be, kind of true. Like, oh, they're pretty even. You can argue for they're not. The ACC is not better.
When Narduzzi made that comment about the ACC being better than the Big Ten, that was just a wish on one hand and crap on the other.
Dude, like you want it to be true, but it's not.
See, here's the thing. Real fast.
It's about as stupid as when he said, we don't care about Notre Dame.
Yeah, why would you even say that? I mean, just I understand
Notre Dame,
we don't need that game. It's still a game. Like, what are you talking about?
Like,
see, here's the
Notre
thing.
Dame beat the eyes out of Pittsburgh that day.
Narduzzi just needs to
see.
He needs to take I don't know, like an Adderall or something before he goes on these. He needs to not be that impulsive.
He needs.
See, here's the thing. If he was going to say they were better than any conference, he would have more of an argument for the SEC because of what Miami did. That's the thing. Because, in Mountaineer Paul, and I want your feedback on this. Like, who do you think has a better argument as far as ACC over SEC, or is it over the Big Ten? Like, if Narduzzi's going to make that argument, which one do you think he should make?
Very good.
It's definitely not the Big Ten. They've won the last 4 national championships. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the ACC, if Clemson could ever get back to what they were, right, and Florida State, that's what it would take, right? You've got to get all those 3 teams humming for it to be legitimate. And then the teams you've already gotten, like Virginia, totally, they're in a place right here. They're coming off a 10-win regular season. Like, now's the time for Virginia to make a move. So there are teams in the league. Obviously, Belichick's at North Carolina. Like, what can he do with them? Not people expect much, but that's another program. Like, if he was winning there, their profile would be enormous. Maybe one of the biggest in the country, right? If Bill Belichick was winning somewhere in college football, it would be a massive story. Think about this. When Rich Rodriguez got hired at West Virginia, it was the second biggest story of the day to Bill Belichick, right? And that was a huge story for Rich Rodriguez coming back. So, he's got a huge profile. I think, ACC has the guns, but they don't have the bullets.
The thing is the teams like SMU, Virginia Tech, North Carolina, Georgia Tech, those programs need to be on par with Washington and Nebraska and Illinois and Wisconsin and Iowa. They have to be on par with those type of programs. And from the SEC, the Missouris and the Ole Misses, stuff like that, you have to be comparable, right? Like, nobody's arguing that that Virginia Tech and Virginia in their current state, even with Virginia's successful season last year, is on par with Nebraska and Washington. They might have better records some years, but they're not on par. Like, Virginia Tech's got fans. They got fans and they have some history, but most of the other programs in the ACC don't really have that. North Carolina, they're the Indiana of the Big Ten, where it's like basketball and then football, they just didn't care, right? They weren't as bad in football as Indiana, but they don't care. And that's why every game that they play, half their stadium's empty. If North Carolina got good with the massive alumni base that they have, it would be just like Indiana. You'd have fans everywhere. They'd be talking about expanding the stadium like Signetti's trying to do in Indiana. It would be a phenomenon, and especially like Mountaineer Policy with Belichick being the coach, it would be a massive story like Deion at Colorado. It's just not happening because they suck right now. But North Carolina has potential. Georgia Tech has potential.
Georgia Tech won a national championship.
They're in Atlanta. They have some history. It's a prime spot, but they just can't get relevant enough. They're good, but they're not relevant enough. Virginia Tech, again, it's got history, but like they have a lot of programs bringing them down. You know what I mean? Like they have a lot of programs. Like SMU's got money, as someone
Wake Forest
said. But the issue is SMU is in a city that they just don't really care about them. They have too many other competing interests. But Wake Forest, Boston College, kind of Syracuse. Those programs just don't help. They don't do anything for the ACC. There's a lot of dead weight in the ACC. There's a lot of programs that do nothing for the ACC.
Let me ask something, Jeffrey, real fast. Out of curiosity, who do you think is carrying the weight in the ACC? Do you think it is?
It was Clemson.
Football. Okay. Is it Miami?
It was Clemson, now
would
it's
say
Miami.
Would you throw like out of the top 4 per se, Jeffrey? Would you throw Louisville in there as carrying some of it because we're good now?
I mean, I still believe that the top is Clemson, Miami, and Florida State, despite the bad seasons from Clemson and Florida State. I mean, they're still above Louisville just by default. It's like if Alabama has 5 crappy seasons in a row of going 6-6 every year, they're still better than Florida.
Like Louisville and SMU's in that tier too.
SMU, again, their issue is they have no dedicated anything. Their fans don't care. They have no one at the games. They're in Dallas. No one cares. I'm sorry, but it's facts. I mean, they have the problem of being in a pro city.
They're in a bad spot.
They have a lot of people do so much other crap in Dallas that the Cowboys, pro NBA, it just
Rangers.
Yes, SMU just doesn't have fans, man. Have you seen the games? They got nobody there. They don't care. Like even though
it's like
good,
USC, Jeffrey.
Virginia Tech,
like USC.
in my mind, is better than SMU. Still, like as a program, because Virginia Tech at least cares. Like when Lane Stadium, when they're good, Virginia Tech is something. They are good. All right, Virginia Tech is a good program. I would argue Virginia Tech, if they're good, is top 5 in the ACC. I think they are a top 5 program when good in the ACC because they have fans. Pittsburgh, I think Virginia Tech's better than
Pittsburgh.
I would say
Pitt will never be bigger than the Steelers.
Pitt has the worst. This is not. I'm not even harping on them. They've got the worst fan turnout in the entire conference.
Virginia Tech.
They don't even have their own stadium. Pitt plays in the Steelers stadium. Like they don't even have their own stadium.
I mean, Pitt basketball has fans, but not Pitt football. Like when Pitt basketball under Jamie Dixon, they had a good fan base, but
correct, they did.
Shouldn't have let Jamie Dixon go.
Yeah, well, he wanted to go to his alma mater.
Now.
The 3 best programs in the ACC by default because of history and fans and money and success is Miami, Florida State, and Clemson. Those 3 are the best. It's not. It's
but
not
this year. It would be what? Miami, Clemson, Louisville, Virginia.
Probably yes, but based off historical success and revenue interest and TV viewers,
so versus the Big 12 this year, you've got Texas Tech, BYU, Utah, Houston, Arizona. Arizona's going to be really good this year. Coming off a 9-win year, they return everybody. I think it's weird, but I think you look at the ACC, they've got obviously two better teams at the top that could challenge, right? I think at the end of the day, like,
I think Clemson is about the same as BYU.
no way.
But
I
I
think-
think
Not this year.
Miami's better than Tech, but I think Big 12 is better than like pretty much
From
all
top
the
to
other
bottom,
ones.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you look at it from the top to the bottom, I really do think it is.
If you're
But-
basing it off historical context, Clemson is way better than BYU. If you're talking about right now, BYU is better than Clemson.
BYU is good. I mean, I know a lot of like my coworkers that picked BYU to win the league this year.
Well, I mean, Tech was the favorite until the Sorsby stuff.
Right. My big thing with Tech this year is like I did a show on this, and I think Jackson you help me do it or maybe you came around right after I did the show to College Sports Insiders Jackson, but it was about how distracted are they this offseason?
That
Seriously.
was one of the shows you and I did, I think, on College Sports Insider.
Think about how distracted Texas Tech's offseason has been. Maybe the most I've ever seen, ever. Like all the things they've had go on. They had the biggest story in the sport. It's still happening. That's overshadowed even a lot of the NCAA stuff that's happening, and with the stuff going on with Congress, like that overshadowed that by far. I mean, it's right up there with the Lane Kiffin story and all that. I think it's easily as big a story as that was.
I will say, though, the irony, though, is that BYU had their own story with Jake Retzlaff, and it didn't affect them.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm not saying it's not going to affect Tech. I'm not saying that, but the Retzlaff
Will
story
Hammond's
was
very
pretty
talented.
big. It
Will
was
Hammond's
a pretty
very
big
talented.
story, and a lot of people were predicting BYU to fall off, and it did not occur. I was even wrong. I had BYU being worse last year than they ended up being. So
I did
the
too.
Retzlaff situation
I'm
didn't
with you,
affect
Jeffrey.
I was a little higher on BYU last year before the season because I was like, wait a minute. Retzlaff's only one player. Did anybody even talk about the BYU defense? And that's what I wonder about Tech, because it's like I feel like nobody's really looking at their tight end Rodriguez. That is a guy to look out for.
It's all about quarterback play, though. The thing is, the quarterback that filled in for Retzlaff last year for BYU did a good enough job. So,
Yeah,
like,
Bear was good.
The defense was good, but if Bear sucked, then BYU would have sucked. It's like Iowa. Iowa sucks a lot of years because their quarterback play sucks. So even though their defense has been number one in the nation several years, and they've still sucked. Like they might have went 8-4 somehow, but they sucked. They were garbage because their quarterback play was trash. BYU, Bear Bachmeier saved the day for them. I mean, he was good. I mean, he was durable enough. He ran the ball well, threw the ball well enough, and he kept them afloat with that defense. If Texas Tech's quarterback this year, filling in for Sorsby, does not deliver, they're not going to be good at what they could have been. But if he does good enough like Bear did, Tech can have a good season. It's all about that.
Eric was so much better as a true freshman than Underwood was, man.
Oh, yeah.
And see, and that's the thing too. Like a lot of people too, and I want to bring this up with Paul here. I've seen a lot of people go on record and say Houston, dark horse to win the league.
Houston won
this year.
10
Willie
games last
Fripp.
year, and they returned everybody. They retained everybody with Willie
I've heard
Fritz
that
there.
quite a bit.
They did. That's just the truth of it. Like, it's easy to look at Houston and look at that logo and think it's just a really bad football team. But this is going to be the best team they've ever had.
And
they're
kind of an
really
SMU
do.
problem, Mountaineer Paul. The reason people think that is because they're in Houston. And
Right.
There's a
Weigman,
difference between these schools and schools like Ole Miss, Mississippi State, because even when they're bad, that's why DeReal always talk about SEC, all that stuff, because those schools are dedicated college towns. And
think about
they
this,
don't have
though.
professional teams. They care so much about their team because that's all they have. These Houstons and SMUs and the Rutgers that's in New Jersey near New York City that's got everything, and the Marylands, they just don't give a crap because they got so much other stuff to do. They got stuff besides sports to do. They've got other professional teams to watch. They got so much stuff around them that they can do that it's like, why am I going to watch this crappy football team that goes 4-8 every year? Where, again, these dedicated college towns, specifically in the SEC, but also the Big Ten has them too, these dedicated college towns, the ACC and Big 12 have them as well, but it's mostly SEC where these big-time college towns, that's their life.
I
All
would
of it
make
is
an
bigger.
argument for the Big 12. I mean, what else does the Big 12 have? Except
Not a
college
lot.
towns.
I agree with that, but at least when it comes to the Houston SMU situation, but when you're talking about the schools
Yeah,
like
I
Lubbock,
feel like they
Texas,
don't have a big
yeah,
head start, though. They just got the Power Four. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not really the fair
I mean-
comparison from that. Like they haven't had a chance to build that equity yet. And maybe not. They maybe not won't even get to because things are going to change. But if things stays the same, you would think maybe 10 or 20 years. It doesn't happen overnight unless you get a Signetti situation.
Yeah.
that's fair.
Mhm.
I agree 100% on that. I think it's just because people are trying to, certain people, most fans are just like, well, Houston SMU, they're suck because they don't have any fans, all that type of stuff. But then there's some people trying to like overhype them too, be like, hey, well, SMU, they're on the like we're trying to argue like, hey, is SMU on the same level as Clemson? And no, they're not. They're just better on the field right now, but they're not on the same level. They're not, because there's a lot of historical context plays a big role in program perception and just reality. Clemson has infrastructure. Clemson's built a successful program that had national championships and all this interest that there's still people are talking about them. They've just declined. SMU's better right now, but they're not Clemson.
Yeah, I mean, I could make an argument that Boise State, if they were good, would have more equity than SMU, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Because of
Boise's a sad
Mhm.
state because
I mean-
their problem is their program. There's a couple things drawing them back where they can't really, they haven't been able to join a bigger league. It sucks for them.
If they
because
did, it would be bad for a lot
they're
of other
good.
leagues.
They are a good program, but like even the Boise market, everybody talking about markets.
It's
The
not that
Boise
bad.
market's a lot bigger now. It's not a small city anymore.
Market
It's
doesn't
big.
even matter anymore now.
It
does
doesn't. That's the point. It used to matter. It mattered 10 years
That's
ago.
why
It doesn't
Memphis
matter.
is still in the American.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
We got that. What is it? We got that Tyson money.
Yeah.
Tyson chicken money. Nobody.
And
Or FedEx
I'll
money.
say
That's
this
what it is
too.
for Memphis.
Yeah. Memphis, FedEx. The two
FedEx
biggest
money.
employers in
Oh,
Memphis.
yeah.
Arkansas,
Arkansas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Arkansas got that Walmart money and Tyson. all
Tyson.
And
those
Tyson
guys.
chicken,
Tyson
Jackson.
and Walmart.
Don't forget Tyson. Good old
Oh,
chicken. But yeah, but to your point
Dude,
though,
the
real fast,
northwestern
Jeffrey.
part of Arkansas is exploding, man. Rogers, Fayetteville, all that stuff. It's massive, dude. It is crazy.
To your
It's
point though,
also-
Jeffrey, look at all five here tonight. We all live in a college town. Jackson lives in Bama. Jeffrey, you live in Carolina. I'm in Kentucky. Will's in Virginia. Mountaineer Paul's over in the backwoods of West Virginia. These are all college towns.
We live in college states, not specifically in the college town.
Yeah, there's
I
literally
don't-
there's not another
College
Power Four
States,
or
my
pro
bad.
team in West Virginia.
Yeah.
There's nothing in West Virginia. Nothing.
Yeah.
No, nothing.
There we go.
My bad.
Will, you live in
College
Virginia.
State,
Does that
not
mean you
college.
watch the Virginia
No,
Cavs?
you're good. I get what you meant for sure. I'm just saying, like, specifically in the college
Well,
town.
I'm by DC. I'm up by DC.
Will's
but
the
I-
exception.
Maryland.
Yeah.
Will is the exception because he's in the metro situation where it's, the professional stuff outplays the college stuff. It does. I mean, it flat out does. Jackson, it's all college sports. All college sports. Where I am, it's heavily college sports. I mean, Panthers, the Care, Hornets, Hurricanes getting up there because they're good, right? But it's still North Carolina. It's still Duke. Dude, basketball mania, holy crap. You talk about football mania where you are, Jackson, it's basketball here. Now, football, there are fans of football.
Same for us.
There's South Carolina fans in North Carolina, and there are Bama fans, and there's fans everywhere. North Carolina's a big state. It's not just North Carolina anymore, because North Carolina is like one of the top 8 populous states, so there's people from everywhere now. But again, when it comes to North Carolina people, though, it is basketball, man. Carolina Duke
Same here.
blows out Panthers versus anybody. It just does. Even if Panthers draw more money somehow, Carolina Duke just they care more. They just care more.
See, like the TBT basketball tournament, Louisville and Kentucky are in that, and that's consistently the most watched thing on television. We are a basketball state at heart. We are like
Kentucky and
you,
Indiana
Jeffrey.
are
We love Louisville.
Yeah.
It's really hard to
Like
beat
Jackson,
UK.
Mm-hmm. And it's just like we love our alumni here. Like Pat Kelsey, he even said it's the best place he's ever been, and he was like, that's why he wanted to take this job, because he knows how proud of a program we are. Kind of like West Virginia, Mountaineer Paul. Remember watching when y'all hired your all new head coach, how he talked about wanting to bring the prestige back to West Virginia, what Bob Huggins had it at. We are a basketball town. Like Jeffrey, we are a basketball town. Jackson's
Yeah.
the Bama, and Will, I guess, is in football and basketball territory with the Commanders.
Did you guys see over the summer what happened with West Virginia baseball? How it went viral, Country Roads went viral and all that, went to the World Cup. West Virginia is unique in that whoever's winning at whatever time we can support really heavily. Like we have the ability to make that baseball team. Like there were many people that said that was the best baseball atmosphere they've ever been in. And we've only been good at baseball a few years. We just started investing. In basketball, it's the same thing. Like we'll pack out the 17,000, 13,000 that they changed it now. 13,000 seat, Coliseum every single game. Same thing with obviously Mountaineer Field, it's going to be, it's going to change soon, but it's going to be, 60, 65,000 people every week.
West Virginia is like Nebraska to me, man. Again, they care. They care because of the locale, the location, and the history. But again, it's like you don't have a lot else to.
We don't have nothing else.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, to me, West Virginia, Nebraska, those schools, they're the embodiment.
Arkansas too, actually, is
they are the embodiment of college sports. They are the embodiment of tradition. They are the embodiment of what we're talking about when we're talking about passionate love for college football, college basketball. That's what it is. It's not Houston. It's not SMU.
Right.
It's not those programs, UNLV, all the ones that are in these big markets.
USC,
they're not
UCLA.
It. They're just not it. I'm sorry, but they're not it. Nebraska's that to me. Virginia is that to me.
You think the Big 12 would have been better off to add Boise State in like a Memphis over Colorado? Over a Houston and a whoever else you want to name.
I mean, the thing is, when it comes to monetary value, Houston might bring in more money because again, the city it's in, but they don't care. That's the problem. Like Boise State and Memphis care more.
They do in basketball now, Houston. They do.
True. Kelvin Sampson's a good coach. I mean, that's why Indiana fans still can't stand it. But yeah, for sure. But
definitely not.
When I'm saying that they don't care, that there's outliers to that. Because like you said, the Big 12 basketball or the Houston, the Big 12 in basketball, they care now. But again, it's like overall, like you see programs like West Virginia, Nebraska, there's just a different level of care.
Right.
It's a different level of passion. It can't be reached. It can't be matched.
Kansas, another Big 12 team. What are they? Basketball. Like
the only thing they have is the Chiefs. They have the Chiefs. That's it. They have the Chiefs. But like Nebraska and West Virginia have nothing.
Yeah, right.
And see, here's the thing. Even with the Chiefs, though, Jeffrey and Mountaineer Paul and everybody, they still pack out the fog. It's still one of the best environments in the sports
Kansas
world
basketball
today.
is Kansas basketball is probably it's right up there with it's right below the Chiefs or the Thunder.
Man.
Not the Thunder probably surpassed, or I don't want to say surpassed the Kansas program, but like definitely right there with it now at this point with who they have. With Shea Gilgeous, can't ever say his name right.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah. I think the thing is for me is you're seeing though that it's one or the other, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Houston basketball, Texans football, Kansas basketball, Chiefs football, Indiana basketball, Colts football, or Notre Dame football to a lesser extent. That it's one or the other. You don't usually have both. Now that you got Indiana football good, it's changing a bit, but they're still Colts fans, but the passion level's shifting, right? Like if Indiana football remains good for the next 10 to 15 years, Indiana football is going to get close to that point. It's just by default, like Clemson. Clemson 15, 20 years ago was nothing. They had some history, but they were pretty much just whatever. But now we think of Clemson because of what they built over time. What Dad was.
Do you know what spurned them into that? Jackson, tell him what spurned Clemson into that. What was the jet fuel for that Clemson uprising? Do you remember?
Oh man, because I remember where it was when Chad Morris got hired, beat OC in 2011, and afterward.
That was bad timing. West Virginia beat Clemson 70-33 in the Orange Bowl. Just absolutely destroyed him with Taj
Wilfred
Boyd.
Succotash, the internet
there it is.
fucked it up on me tonight.
Tavon Austin had a big game.
Oh man,
He
like
did.
I remember that. Like West Virginia smacked Clemson off face of the earth. That was fun.
Yeah, that was when from there on they did not lose much again.
Nope.
Man,
Oh, there we got
man,
Darrell.
Yes.
man, Matt near Paul, Tavon Austin was electric. I remember when he played for my Cowboys.
Man,
Like
He was
when he played
misused in the
Cowboys and
NFL.
Rams, that was fun.
he wasn't used correctly in the NFL by Jeff Fisher. His best years, with the Rams and everything.
Who do you say is the best West Virginia NFL player? Would you say Pac-Man or was there someone else?
There are
Geno
a couple. Probably Sam Huff, right? I mean, obviously Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But I mean, Mark Bulger would
Mark
probably be up
Bulger.
there. We don't have a lot of great ones, to be honest. Now
What
that's
about like
changing.
Jeff Hostetler? What about him?
Hostetler was a good one. Yeah, absolutely. Pat McAfee's in that conversation.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he really is.
Onside kicked
I was
himself.
gonna make a joke and say Will Greer, but I can't really joke about it because I mean he was a good player. Will Greer was good. I don't really know what happened there. I mean,
I just think his measurables just aren't quite. He was a great college player, right? But he's
He was
6'2".
great.
Yeah, I just think his arm strength
There we
wasn't
go.
quite, where it needed to be. Athletically, he was, above average, but not great. And I think he was just a very good backup. He made a lot of money being a backup in the NFL, and sometimes that's just somebody's fate.
yeah,
A
it
lot
sucked
better
for
than a
me
lot
as
of people's
Panthers
fate.
fan because I was pulling for him because he started.
Oh,
the
I wanted
games,
him-
and it went so bad.
I
It
thought
was-
he was going to be better. I really did. I
man.
truly thought he was going to be better.
Yeah.
And if somebody would have invested in him and let him maybe have a shot, like he really never just got his shot,
Yeah.
He almost did with the Cowboys a couple times, but it just never came to pass. I wanted to see it because he has a lot of moxie in him, and he retired early. He could still easily be playing. Geno has carved himself out. Look, he wouldn't say what they want about Geno, but he pulled himself up off the deck 10 years into his career and made a Pro Bowler out of himself. That's hard to do. That's like Rich Gannon type stuff. It just doesn't happen very often. Like Rich Gannon was in the league for 10 years and all of a sudden showed up in Oakland with John Gruden. And, that was magic, right? So I think with Geno, unfortunately, he's had some unfortunate things happen. Like getting his jaw broken was a crazy situation in the NFL locker room. Like, I mean, do you not have the emotional intelligence not to sucker punch somebody? Like, it's a crazy situation. But, Geno is a little off-putting because he hasn't really embraced West Virginia too much. I don't know if he's embarrassed of it or if he's just too caught up in like his life or whatever. But,
I think it's probably he's a little too caught up in his life, honestly.
I will say on Geno Smith though, like I do respect that he turned his career around for sure. I think to me though, what it proves is that a quarterback that is not great, because I think we can all agree that he's not great. I'm not saying he's not bad. He's good, but if he's in a good situation, can have success. Because Sam Darnold, dude, he sucks. Trash. Sam Darnold. Panthers sucks. Jets suck. Not
Every
great as
week
Vikings
I
were.
remember.
Look at Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold achieved what Geno could not, a Super Bowl, because that team was built for offensive success. The offense was great under Geno. He had weapons everywhere, and he did good, but he didn't do great. And that shows what Geno Smith is to me.
Well,
He's a
I
good
would say
player,
though,
but when you're in a good situation, you're gonna overplay your skill level.
I mean, you're gonna be winning with Jackson Smith Jibba. I mean,
if you're a bad quarterback, you're gonna suck no matter what. But if you're a decent to good quarterback, if you're on a bad team, you're gonna suck. If you're on a great team, you're gonna do good, like Geno did. If you're a great quarterback, you can succeed almost anywhere.
but you can't win, obviously, if you're on a bad team. But great quarterbacks succeed no matter what. Geno's not that guy. He's a good enough quarterback. And in a good situation, he had success. And it's great for him. But it proves that's why Sam Darnold, some of these quarterbacks, to my Paul's point, will agree, you just need a chance. You need to be put in the right situation. You need to be able to have a team built around you that is built for success. If Geno Smith never ended up at Seattle, he never would have been anything. His entire career, he'd been nothing. He had the success he did because he got put in a great situation and he took advantage of it. Unfortunately for him, he wasn't good enough to stay there and have great success. And Sam Darnold achieved it, but he was good. He did good. I'm just saying that proves that a lot of people that say that these quarterbacks are trash, so-and-so and so-and-so, it's because their team sucks, man. If they had a shot, they could put a Pro Bowl season together like Geno Smith. He had a good year. I was proud of Geno Smith, but he had a great team around.
Yeah, yes, he was artistically incredible. That was in 2012, and I believe that was...
Yeah, and he threw it for like 600 yards or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
I just feel like,
boy,
personally,
gentlemen.
though, like, I feel like, Mike McDonald's offense, and Ryan Grubb, like, that system was...
I'm hitting the sack.
It left Geno exposed a lot of times.
Have a great night. Well, I definitely have to go soon, but
yeah, we're
definitely-
going
Will.
to wrap it up in a little
guys.
bit.
Like the Clint Kubiak system, I think was just way better for what they wanted to do, and with those pieces. Like you look at like Seattle hired Kubiak away from the New Orleans, right? And Darnold paired with him was just a great pairing. I think Geno Smith would. I mean, they went from as I followed it closely, they went from 21st to 8th in scoring. And I do believe that a lot of it had to do with Kubiak as well.
Yeah.
Ryan Grubb
I think that Geno Smith would have not say won a Super Bowl, but done even better with.
Oh yeah, with Kubiak, absolutely, yeah. I think that's just the scheme was way better for the pieces they had, the incredible offensive pieces they have, while under Grubb, it was just so run heavy. I mean, look, Geno had his turnover issues and things, but yeah, I mean, it was tough for me because I wanted him to be better.
What the Seahawks will do under their new offensive coordinator, Brian Fleury.
I like Geno Smith. I got nothing against Geno Smith at all. I just think Geno Smith, it proves that quarterbacks that haven't had success or people don't think are any good can be good in the right situation.
Yeah, I also think we need to give these quarterbacks time and not throw them into the fire year one. I think that would be helpful for the league as well, because you have a lot of these teams like the Jets, Panthers that just throw their rookie quarterback in and they're terrible, and I think that rattles them personally, and I don't think they're able to recover from it.
You think Bryce Young is okay?
Yes, he's okay. He's like your average NFL quarterback. I don't expect him to be great. I consider him a success, to be honest with you. It's hard to be a quarterback in the NFL. It's the hardest job in all of professional sports. So, I mean, Geno Smith's had a great career.
Well, look, Geno's going to have his opportunity again with the Jets this year. We'll see what he does. I mean, he's got weapons there.
There we go.
Yeah, but I mean the Jets, man, are just
the Jets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They're a fake.
That's why Dante Moore turned him down and got his NIL contract. Now, if NIL didn't exist, he would have went to the Jets.
Yeah, but no matter what happens with Geno, he's got the Benjamins and he's set for life. Whereas before he wasn't. I mean, he's made out with over $100 million because of what he's done recently. So.
I wouldn't want to play for Woody Johnson. I would not want to play for him.
It's a great late career comeback. I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, I love stories like that for sure. I mean, it's just so. I mean, the Sam Darnold one's hilarious to me. All I know is Sam Darnold, man, got trashed.
It was bad.
When he got Carolina, when he was at Carolina, it was bad. When he was at the Jets, it was really bad. But even
I remember the hype.
He was horrible. Why is he in the league? And again, where are they at? Again, this is what I'm talking about. That's what I love about sports. I love this because I'm not perfect on this. No one is, I don't think. Some people maybe, but I try when I make a mistake in my assessment to say like, hey, I said this in the past and I ended up being wrong. I try to do that. No one's perfect on that. But the people that said Darnold was trash are gone. And those same people are saying, he's good. He's
I was
really
wrong.
good.
Yeah, people saying they're wrong.
But some people aren't ever going to say that they're wrong on that.
Yeah, who was the BYU quarterback that was selected to the Jets? They were comparing him to Zach Wilson all the time. I don't know if you remember that.
Or Josh Rosen, man. Got
Yeah.
like other players that I hated for Josh Rosen. That was terrible.
You know what Darnold being at the Seahawks is kind of like? It's kind of like Jim Plunkett at the Raiders when he won those 2 Super Bowls. Everybody looks at those 2 Super Bowls that were won with Plunkett at quarterback, but nobody looked at the fact of what led up to Jim Plunkett having to step up to the plate. Nobody was remembering the fact that he was a backup quarterback in 1980. Everybody was favoring the Oilers with Kenny Stabler because, Kenny Stabler left.
Kenny the Snake Stabler.
Yep. Oh man, he was a party boy back in those days.
Right, that Raiders team was the first team ever to win the Super Bowl as a wild card team.
John Madden, baby.
Yeah. Oh no, John Madden was 76, but 1980 was a different coach. The different coach was in his Tom Flores. That was his second year. Flores' first year was 1970. I should know this because that was also the second year that John Madden was broadcasting games. He was not calling games with Pat Summerall yet, but he was almost there.
Something funny, Jackson? What's funny is how people support the current whatever trend that people are talking about. Literally right now, when you look up Patrick Mahomes, the number one thing you're gonna see on like videos and stuff is he's washed. Mahomes is washed. It's over.
Yeah,
he's
there's no way
anymore.
that's true.
And I'm just sitting here and I'm just like,
I mean, he's only won 3 Super Bowls, Jeffrey. I mean,
I feel like
why do people do this though? It's like, dude.
Did you see the NFL players ranked Lamar Jackson as the 69th best player? Yeah, I know he had a bad year, but come on. Lamar Jackson's not the 69th best player. He's way higher than that.
It's recency bias, man. That's what people do, though. It's like we're in an age now because I'm telling you, a lot of it's social media, but it's
didn't he just turn 30 though? I mean, why would Patrick Mahomes be anywhere near washed?
Yeah, it's the instant scroll and people scroll and they look at 180.
I guess because it's been good for so long, right? He should have been good for a long time.
What I'm saying is that I think that people just in this society that we're in now, it's just things are moving so fast. Like news stories, they move so fast. Like everybody's talking about something for like 2 days and it's gone. And it's just so it's like right now, since it's the current thing to talk about Mahomes being washed, and everybody's talking about it, and it's like he's not washed. Okay, he's not washed.
People also like tearing down greatness, just anywhere.
Monkey.
I just don't agree with it. I mean, if Patrick Mahomes throws 35 interceptions next year and 4 touchdowns, then I will tell you that he's washed. He's done, but he's not washed. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there are guys that they get to their 10th year and get better, right? He's in his 10th year in the league. Like, there's a chance he actually gets better from here.
Yeah, halfway through last year, he was favored to win the NFL MVP.
Think about Tom Brady 10 years into his career and what happened the next 10.
Yeah, because I remember that 08 season. It was that torn ACL in week 1 against the Chiefs. And then a year later, 09 was a bounce back season.
Boy, was it.
Yeah, 10 years, every 10 years of Tom Brady's career, he had a Hall of Fame career. If you just took it in 10-year segments, I mean, it's insane.
I mean, it's like
he said the other day he could come back and play right now. He really believes he could.
I mean, do you doubt it? With how
I wouldn't doubt him. I wouldn't doubt him at the if it wasn't maybe for 17 games, I would doubt.
Yeah, if he played 5 games for the Minnesota Vikings,
5 games he could do it. Yeah,
I think the Vikings would be the best fit because. I mean, Justin Jefferson is the best player, and God bless him soul, he had J.J. McCarthy last year as quarterback. Man. I think with Brady, he can put up better production, and they can be a decent team, even though he's 40. What is he, 49?
Yeah.
Probably more like 39, but yeah.
40. He's 49. Yeah. But
all right, guys. Well. It was good hollering at you tonight.
This is a great chat. I had a great time. This is a ton of fun.
But it's like the definition of Southern goodbyes or Midwestern goodbyes. You think you're gonna leave, and then you stay out.
Oh, trust me, that is so true.
What have we been partying like, Jackson?
We've been partying like alley cats tonight.
Everybody.
What is your favorite saying that Jackson has?
You
I
can't
don't know,
throw the
man.
baby out with the
Baby out with the
bathwater.
bathwater, man.
Mine is probably. I always make Jackson say, "Hey Jackson, how mad was Mike Tyson in his fights?
Oh, here's mad as a cottonmouth snake.
He's as mad as a cottonmouth. Just such a random thing."
Well, to tell you the truth, I remember hearing that quote once on a show called The Westerner with Brian Keith, and I was like, I've got to use that same one of these days.
You got to keep the old sayings alive, man. You got to keep the old sayings alive. Hill of beans, like all everything comes out in the wash. Dude, some of these old sayings are the greatest, dude.
Well,
they might be corny Randy today, Savage but they're great. A couple good ones.
Well, one thing to remember, gentlemen.
To the top.
There you go. One thing to remember, gentlemen, is when things go bad, you just run the string out. I'll always tell that to your puppy dogs and your cats around you.
He said that to me on the show one day. I said, "What would you do if XYZ happened?" He said, "I'm just letting the string run out." In other words, just run it till the wheels fall off, I guess. Yeah. It's like just letting the string just run out. I like that analogy. It's like a fishing rod. Just let it run out.
There you go.
Awesome. And that's how Mel Gibson came up with the Passion of the Christ.
Man, South Park got some classics.
Man,
I heard that on Family Guy one time. It was like something random happened. I think like Peter fell down some stairs and then was like looked up and he was like, and that's how Mel Gibson came up with the Passion of the Christ. Just like random to whatever.
Yeah, like
happened.
Literally that entire show is random.
Man, yeah.
Farland, man.
Dude, that is so freaking funny though. That is awesome. Yeah.
So now I have to, at weird intervals, I'll throw that in, and that's how Mel Gibson came up with the Passion of the Christ.
Oh man.
The thing is, it works though.
It does work.
Ironically, works.
Yeah, that's a good point. It always gets a laugh. It always gets a laugh no matter when I do it.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, if you don't laugh at that, what, do you laugh at anything though?
Well, I mean, if you just picture it, just try to picture it for a second. Like he was letting the string run out on something, and that's how Mel Gibson came up. It makes no sense, right? It'll be like, but it's so funny.
There you go. Oh man. Well, I will say, gentlemen, we'll definitely be hitting the hay, especially because it's late at night. But
11:20, man. That did.
As for Paul and I, we'll see you later tonight. Well, at 9 p.m. Eastern, where we'll be joined by Garrison Gaddy of Ohio State at the Voice College Football, discussing some Buckeyes in the Big Ten. I'm going to tell you right
now. Ohio stink.
Oh man, it's gonna stink.
The most hated team in college football.
I hope so. I
mean, it can't.
Jack Myrick, shout out to him bringing that magic on Auburn at the Voice of College Football. Y'all check him out with Gus Wilson and Donovan Weaver. I'm telling y'all, that's a fun one. Chat, thank y'all so much for tuning in. We saw a rock and rant from CFB Express. That guy is a freaking magician. I mean, he brings that beard magic, man. I'm telling you.
Appreciate everybody. We had a lot of people in chat tonight.
Oh, yeah. We were rolling.
And by Michigander, Darrell, Houdini, artistically incredible, like Caden. There's a lot of people, man. We appreciate it.
Oh, we have part. We did not expect to be this long. I was like, okay, we'll get off at 11:20 p.m. Eastern. It's like, no. It's like, I should know better. It's like, this is a Thursday. We never get off, apparently. But, oh, man. So, check out Darrell and the magic he does on the call-ins on the Voice College Football and on some of the other shows. And I can tell you right now, it's always a fun ride. And, Paul, what have you got going on, good buddy?
7 days a week, twice a day, Locked on West Virginia, baby. That's what we do. Always talking about the Big 12 and the Mountaineers, having fun. Appreciate you guys.
Oh, man. And Jeffrey, what magic have you got cooking this week? I know you did a show with Will. So that was
I did a show with Will this week. It was a ton of fun. We talked about War Emanuel, stepping down, and we talked about college ball over-unders and Motion Sales going to Indiana, first 5-star recruit ever for the Hoosiers. So we talked about a lot of stuff. It was a ton of fun. So I'd definitely be looking forward to doing another show with Will. Probably, again, I'm waiting for LeBron.
if LeBron would stop dragging out his decision, I definitely would do a live stream on LeBron wherever he ends up and talk about more NBA free agency. But I also have more college football content, possibly even something next week. Maybe me and Jackson and the others as well try to figure out a stream talking about I think something college football related. So there's gonna be a lot of content coming on my channel, Only Talk Sports. Definitely stay tuned for that. Appreciate those who subscribe, hit the notification bell. It helps out a lot. Also appreciate everybody who's followed me on X to know when I go live, and also when I'm live here on Alabama at the Voice of College Football every Monday with Jackson and Travion, and Thursday with me and Jackson on the College Show. And appreciate all the callers, including you two, Drilling and Mountaineer Paul. It's great talking with you guys. Again, I love the conversation because we're all so passionate about college football. And it's like again, sometimes I get really excited and animated on certain things, but
it's okay.
Down, I'm having a good time. I'm just it's fun.
I mean,
stuff.
everybody gets their time to talk. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, this was a great show.
Oh man, and you could check me out on right here with Jeffrey at OnlyTalkSports Monday night, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern time in Alabama, Crimson Tide Live. You can also find me and Jeffrey at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern time, Thursday nights on the Alabama College Show. I will be starring as a guest on Kelsey's show. Shout out to Kelsey of Alabama Primetime Live on Tuesday nights on Off the Bench at 9:30 a.m. Central Time, 10 a.m. Central Time, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Saturday morning. And of course, about Paul and I bringing that magic on College Sports Insiders, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Time. And I believe Sunday, you just might see a show on College Sports Insiders, but of course, you'll be seeing some more magic on Mountaineer Paul from Lockdown, West Virginia, where he goes over your Mountaineers every single day. And of course, also, you can check out my latest episode of the Jack Show with Anthony Aguirre from Roundtable Sports of the Miami Heat, Miami Hurricanes, where we talked a lot about the Heat, whether LeBron comes back to the Heat, whether Miami finally wins the ACC. We go over it all. And I'm going to tell you, we got some fun rides ahead of the way. And with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell so you never miss no video whatsoever. And roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Go Mountaineers.
Idrissa Beers.